Hello, everyone, and welcome to Smashbox TV's podcast number 72. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, also joined here in studio by Johnny V. Getting all fancy here this week with...
Yeah, I played some music off my iPhone.
Wow.
Yeah.
We are really... People wondered if we'd step up our game.
Stepping it up.
We're going to be talking a lot about media and what other people are doing to cover disc golf, and we may have just blown everyone away. I mean, it's really,
you can only do so much for people.
I'm just saying we're at another level up, I think they say, next level, all of that stuff. So we're here for podcast 72, brought to you in part by Daredevil Discs. We had Ricky Singleton on the show a few weeks ago. He's also got a few new molds he'd like to talk about. We're going to have him back, or at least pass on the information about the new molds. So if you're looking to distribute any Daredevil Discs, please reach out to Ricky Singleton on Facebook, search for him, or look for Team Waka. You will find Ricky Singleton with Daredevil Discs. So again, reach out to him. I know there's discs here in the U.S., and they're ready to distribute them throughout the rest of the country. He said immediately after being on our podcast, the very next morning, he actually was flooded with orders, and we're excited to hear that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's really good. It shows how much power we have, Terry. How much weight we throw around.
I throw around more than I'd like to sometimes.
Yeah, me too.
What it also, and that was intro music. So from here on out,
it was different intro music.
Oh, okay.
It was pre iPhone intro music.
All right. Now, is anybody going to come after us for some copyright on that music? Probably.
Possibly.
We're going to get flagged, as they say. Way to go. Going to get us in trouble.
Hey.
Anyway, so tonight we are going to have Madison Walker joining the show. Madison had a great weekend, and we know she has some stories and updates for us, so we're going to talk to her. She surprisingly is not going to be with Paige Pierce. The two of them will be traveling together. I'm sure we'll get some of those stories, but Madison had a great weekend, and again, we're excited to catch up with her. Of course, we're going to have Dana Vicich joining us, giving us some weekend updates before we move on to talking to Madison, and then afterwards, we'll have some other news and information that's out there on the internet, see what's going on in the world of disc golf. Talk about our friends over at Disc Golf Answer Man and DD and all those guys. Big shout out to Bobby Brown and Eric McCabe. They're doing. They released their Disc Golf Answer Man podcast a little early. They said they actually got it out today because they're
trying to steal our views.
I know.
Just saying.
So they had it out earlier today. So definitely go out there and download it. I told them that I needed to listen to it before our show because I don't have any original ideas. I just steal their content. So
I have not had a chance to listen to it.
We're gonna have to steal other content. So, and speaking of the crew over there, huge happy birthday wishes over to Denise over at the DD Latitude Distribution Warehouse and such. Happy birthday to Denise and to another Smashy and Jennifer Sawyer. It's her birthday today. And many of you remember or know Jennifer, not just for being an awesome promoter of women over in Michigan, but she was also a guest commentator when we hosted the Vibram Birdie Bash World Championships. So thank you so much for the help then, and happy birthday to both of you today. So get out there and have some fun and stuff. All right, are we almost queued up with our friend Dynamite or not quite?
No, Dana's having computer problems.
Okay. Well, that's fine. We don't really need him.
We can bring him in a little later.
That's fine. One thing we would like to announce right away off the top of the show is we're going to be working with Keith Murray over at Spinners on the Green. Him and it sounds like his friend Ben, and I think Ben's going to be everybody's friend, from Sierra Nevada is going to be joining us next week. So Sierra Nevada, a big supporter over at the Memorial. And so I just wanted to confirm, yes, it's Ben with Sierra Nevada. So we're going to have Keith and Ben step inside the Smashbox next week. So we're looking forward to that, find out a little bit about where things are positioned and what it means to have someone like Sierra Nevada, supporting disc golf, and especially at obviously one of the biggest tournaments of the year being the Memorial. So look for that on next week's podcast. So do we want to get into some news then while we're waiting on Dana to join us?
Yeah, we can see if Dana can get his computer issues worked out. If not, then we'll take updates into our own hands.
All right, that would work as well.
But yeah, let's go right into news and a little bit of social media. We can kind of get right to that. Disc Golf World Tour making some big announcements, some big medium announcements.
There are, and we actually have announcements on all three of the tours taking place. We'll start with Disc Golf World Tour, as you said. earlier today, they made an announcement, kind of talking a little bit about their media strategy, their media plan,
who they're partnering with.
Yep, and we've seen that actually all three of the tours talk a little bit about it. And I made the comment earlier, when one tour does something and another tour follows suit, just in the timeliness, it may look like someone's, I hate to use the term copying, but I think there's going to be some overlap. I'm sure there's going to be taking the best of what's done here and what's done there, and could get integrated or altered or changed depending on how the feedback comes in. But yeah, we saw Disc Golf World Tour announce they're going to be teaming up along with Stu Mullenberg.
Yep.
Jomez Productions. He's going to be bringing you some recorded coverage, and then the live backbone or the live coverage brought to you by Disc Golf Planet.
Wow.
So that is incredibly exciting. I think the number one question that's been out there is, are they going to have live coverage?
Yeah, because it was never, they talked about live, and we did live with them at USDGC, but nothing has ever been absolutely confirmed as far as live, where or when or what events, even for that matter. Were they just going to be the U.S. events? Were they going to cover the world events, so to speak, the other ones? So yeah, so what it looked like, that Disc Golf Planet is going to provide the backbone. We're assuming without Crazy John, because they have Avery, and Avery was announced earlier this year as the announcer for Disc Golf World Tour.
Correct. And I know Jamie Thomas, obviously very skilled. He's done so many of the Spin TV and the Spin 18 or Spin TV productions, doing the co-commentary and editing and filming. He's kind of a all-around extraordinaire, doing a bunch of different things. So again, we're just speculating. We expect to probably see Avery along with Jamie Thomas. They may or may not have any additional commentating on top of that. That we're not sure of. That wasn't the details, I guess, aren't really important at the moment, but I'm sure we're going to figure those out as they move on. So pretty exciting stuff out there. I guess we should clarify, if there is a clarification. Someone had just actually sent me a private message asking who Terra Firma was, and Terra Firma is, I guess you would consider it the parent company name
of Disc Golf Planet.
Terra
Firma is the parent company, and underneath there, I think, is Emerging Sports, Disc Golf Planet.
Originally, it was
Beach Sports Network.
The Beach Sports Network, exactly.
So
that's what you're looking at. Question is, number one question, why wasn't Smashbox? I had I would say a really good conversation a few days ago with UC Maresma, obviously of Disc Golf World Tour, and he was I don't know if concern is the word, but he said he knew that Disc Golf Planet had a greater channel of distribution, had more access, and had a different angle, rather than kind of the smaller group that we have. Obviously, we put it out on YouTube.
I think I almost take offense to that. Well, not offense to what UC says, but the fact that, I mean, they clearly have the Emerging Sports Network. So if that's part of the tie-in,
correct,
then yes, they're putting it out to like up to 90 million possible households or something. 99 million possible households. So you're getting it on TV. So that's, I think, hopefully the reason why he went with Disc Golf Planet.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if we're going to see it on. I tried to clarify, and if I recall what he said earlier, I'm not sure that they're going to push into that recorded mode on the Emerging Sports Network or not. However, they're going to be working, obviously, again, the backbone. If you think about how we were integrated in the USDGC, we were kind of the live backbone at that point.
Sure.
And so they've been talking to John Duzler and Terry Roddy. Terry Roddy is been in disc golf for 30-some years. John Duzler's been in disc golf for 30-some years.
It's a lot of experience.
There it is. So pretty exciting stuff. They had their media news and announcements posted. We've also seen media and news announcements continuing to take place on the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Sure. Well, I was actually, there's one more thing about Disc Golf World Tour, and this might tie into Disc Golf Pro Tour as well. If you look at some of the, we'll say, requirements of signing up for the Disc Golf World Tour, one of the requirements is, and we kind of discussed this, is that players are going to have to keep track of their stats. And I know we've talked to Steve Dodge a little bit, and there's going to be, possibly some of that too, but I actually spoke with Chuck Kennedy for a little bit over Facebook today about that, and he had brought up how, a couple of years ago he had the P stats, which he kind of pushed out to the PDGA, and what a lot of you don't know is that There was actually one event, which I believe you attended.
I attended and played in. I kept my own P-stats.
At the IDGC of something Chuck had come up with P-stats. Basically,
personal statistics. It's
yeah. So you would keep track of your missed putts, your fairways hit, off greens, OB, all that good stuff. And that never really got rolled out to the PDGA because there was always something more important. And that's when you have a big organization, that's what happens. So now, part of the Disc Golf World Tour, for sure, and I'm not quite sure about the Disc Golf Pro Tour yet, but Disc Golf World Tour, the players need to keep track. It's part of the agreement when you sign up to play that you need to keep track of your own stats.
I don't know. DQ.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking that, like, what if you're having a bad day and you just, you're missing every putt inside of 30 feet and you
got to go log it.
Yeah, now you have to log it on the fly, or, or what if you're having great. And I told Chuck, I said, I don't necessarily agree with the decision that it should be forced. I think it should be an optional, but we'll see what they all have to keep track of. I think as long as you keep it simple enough, it shouldn't be a big distraction.
That is an interesting thing, and we're not sure exactly how Steve's planning on doing it. I know there's going to be statistics, and I'll segue right into another thought I had earlier today about statistics, which are, there's going to be a number of different ones that are circulating. There's going to be things like PDGA ratings out there. Now there's going to be World Tour rankings, which were just announced. And then there's Disc Golf Pro Tour rankings.
I didn't look at the Disc Golf World Tour rankings, but I think I'm number one.
I think they're broken if they are. But what's interesting to me is we've always talked about ratings, and people have their concerns about how relatable they are to someone else. If somebody else wants to say, what a rating really means, or a handicap, or an average, whatever. And now we're going to have 2 or 3 different potential. If people are unsatisfied with ratings and the world rankings right now they have 3 of them to argue about.
Hey.
and it is what it is.
Like, I'm really, really bitter. I'm 5th in the world rankings, but I'm 3rd in the World Tour rankings, so woohoo! Or something along those lines.
Yeah, it's going to be funny to see how that works out. So that was one other thought that I had earlier in the day, is just that you're going to have different ratings, different rankings. I'm going to segue over to the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Okay.
And I know that he isn't currently signed up at this very moment for the Memorial, and I'm not sure he's going to be. But with the exception of Greg Barsby, who is somewhere in there.
Is he still recovering? I mean, I haven't heard or seen anything. I'm on Facebook lately, and he had an elbow issue. And
recovering. To clarify, you mean recovering from an injury? You just said, is he still recovering? I think that could be misconstrued.
I think it's implied that.
Yeah. No, but Greg Barsby isn't signed up. But outside of Greg Barsby, the Disc Golf Pro Tour, Steve Dodge told us today that he has committed the other top 14 male players in the world. Impressive. Have committed to the Pro Tour. So that is very impressive, if you ask me. And I know Barsby is that outlier, so you can't just flat out say, the top 15. But so with Barsby missing, the 14 best in the world are committed to playing in the Pro Tour.
That's awesome.
I didn't clarify. I wonder if that's the 14 best by Pro Tour rankings or by some other rankings.
You think the Pro Tour will use the World Tour rankings and just be like, no. Yeah, this is so. But that is very, very cool that we're going to see that. So many people committed to it, and we've all said it. It's a very practical tour, and it's very. If somebody wants to go out and hit, the 8, 10, 12 weeks or whatever it is, when it's all said and done, it's just geographically practical, and it's going to be really exciting. So Steve Dodge had, because I helped point them out to him, he had a couple snafus with some sponsors on some of the player cards that were out today. He got them all fixed. Eric McCabe was kind of questioning who he was sponsored by, because according to the internet, it wasn't Dynamic Disc, but it got all situated. Yeah, they got it all cleared up. So sometimes when you're in a hurry and you do things so many times, it's almost like you're blind. It's people call it highway hypnosis, where you just forget what you're doing. You don't always see. That's why it's always good to have an editor, someone that can overlook all the things that you're putting out.
Yeah, that's what he said. He's like, maybe I should have sent this page to you first before I put 12 different people down for wrong sponsorships. Yeah. But it is what it is. He's got it all worked out. So
yeah.
So that's the World Tour news, the Pro Tour news. I think Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you gonna talk about the American Tour news?
I'm gonna talk real briefly on the news that I think was just released a day or two ago.
Okay.
They have now, I think they said by popular demand or by overwhelming response or demand or whatever the word phrasing they used, but they're adding amateur divisions. An amateur division. Let me clarify.
Okay.
One amateur division.
Wow. I didn't see that coming.
I saw it on the site or I saw it on the Facebooks, so it must be true. And
it's on the internet. Of course it's true.
They have decided to add one amateur division. So I thought that was interesting. What is that really going to mean? One's got to think, wow, I'm an amateur. Maybe I'm the top amateur come Sunday afternoon. Is there any chance I'm getting on TV? And I can't answer because I don't know.
I'm going to say no.
But I'm going to guess not.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately.
If I took a wild guess, I'd say no.
Yeah, so that's something that's happening.
If you're the top amateur, you should be playing pro. That's kind of my rule.
Well, that is something that was released, so we're just passing it on. I'd be curious to know how many people are going to sign up for either of those. I mean, we've seen the sign up for the World Tour. We've now talked a little bit about the Pro Tour and at least the commitments and so on, and we're expecting that to be very well attended. My question is, outside the 8 or 10 people that they listed on the American Tour site, I don't know who else has signed up yet. So it'll be interesting. Planning on attending it.
Sure.
They've got Barry Schultz and they got Wysocki and a number of other players. Michael Johansson, I think I saw on the list, so on and so forth. I mean, they've got the list they have are 8 to 10 really solid players, but I guess we'll see as more and more people commit to it. And that is, of course, as we talked about earlier with Val Jenkins, that also falls on the exact same weekend as the women's global event. So get out there and make sure the women get signed up for playing in any women's global events anywhere around the country.
I don't know if they can integrate, if they can make
Not at that event.
No, because, well, one of the reasons, I was taking a closer look at some of the rules of the American Tour, and then there's been a lot talked about the different, devices, so to speak, that you can use and the different specs of the discs and stuff. And some of the ones that really popped out to me, rule number 1 for putting. Any throw from a lie that is within 50 feet of a target measured from the rear of the marker disc to the target is considered a putt. While putting, a player must select a stance directly behind the mini marker's disc. The player's feet must remain behind the mini marker disc until the disc is released and maintain balance behind the mini disc. That means no step putts inside of 50 feet.
No step putts, no jump putts, nothing. Yeah. So basically the circle
is moved
the
back
10 meters,
50 feet.
Essentially 33 feet or 10 meters. Yeah, has been moved back to 50 feet. Yeah.
So,
I don't know if it was here on our podcast or if I just heard a healthy debate elsewhere, but that's been talked about. I want to say it was maybe as recently as last weekend with Dana. I don't know. We talked about it recently, but yeah, that is definitely one of the more unique rules that we've seen. They're making the putting circle bigger.
No, it's not one of the more unique rules. That's the basic rule that I found.
Okay.
We're actually getting Dana here on, and we'll have Dana join in here pretty quick. Mute your stuff, Dana might. But so one of the other ones is marking your lie. All players are required to mark their disc at all times. You can't use your disc as your marker.
Okay.
So there's no, just kind of leave your disc there and don't touch it and throw.
Sure, which is actually a rule that was only implemented and changed in the PDGA within the last few years.
It's been quite a few now.
Okay, maybe, now I'm getting
5,
old.
6, 7 years.
Yeah, at least 5, where you've been able to just leave your disc as it is. You've had that option to do it.
And the final rule, which is I think possibly the biggest change, is their OB rule. Now listen to this. A disc is considered out of bounds when more than 50% of the disc comes to rest beyond the out-of-bounds line. Water, creek, or other natural hazards deemed as OB must have at least 50% of the disc touching in bounds. Less than 50% of the disc supported by dry ground deems the disc as OB. So it's not, we've always had the discussion, did the line have thickness, all that other good stuff, but now they're actually saying, you will have to determine where 50% of your disc is. So, and if it's more or less than that in bounds.
Which is interesting from the fact because I feel like saying all or nothing is a lot easier than
completely
than trying to slice up a disc and determine if 50% is inbounds or not.
Yeah, that was kind of that's the one rule I thought was really strange to have implemented. Why not just make it, if any of your disc is touching out of bounds, it's OB, or any of your disc is inbounds, it's inbounds. Make it one or the other, but having a 50% rule is, I think, confusing, and it really leaves yourself up to judgment. It in a lot of gray area there.
It will. I can agree with that, and I'm sure there's logic behind it. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm guessing they have some reasoning and logic behind it, as that being one of the changes that they've made to standard PDGA rules. So very interesting. All right, are we just about ready too?
I think we're about ready.
We've got all the volumes, everything set correct to where it needs to be, and as we pull him in, we're going to welcome him a little bit late, but still looking good. Dana Vicich joining the show. How are we doing tonight, buddy?
Taking some deep breaths over here. My computer is, again, second week in a row, not behaving correctly. I swear it was stable this morning when I threw it.
You hit one too many trees with it.
Wrong line. But you guys know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. What kind of computer are you rolling with there, Dana?
It's a hand-me-down from my wife. It is an Apple Mac.
Oh, okay.
Are you familiar with those, Johnny?
I'm very familiar with them. I have one myself, and I love it. So, I can't help you there then right now, Dana.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and boy, I don't have my notes up or any of this stuff, but I'm ready to go. What's going on?
Well, we were talking real quickly. We just kind of covered some news about some of the tours, and then we brought you on, Dana, and your job is to let us know what happened last weekend.
Well, I can do that. There were some tournaments. There was actually 3 B tiers. I don't know if my boy Spike Heiser was up to anything. I don't think I saw anything, so I'm a little disappointed. But
how dare he take a weekend off?
I know.
Well, where he's taking off, the Dynamic Disc crew down in Texas is still, they're going strong. Dynamic Disc presents the Winter Warm-Up down in Carrollton, Texas, a B-tier event. And Deja Vu, Miles Seaborn, strikes again, gets himself another really nice win, 25-person open field, $500 payday. And he did it by shooting a 1062 rated second round. His first round was 965, so he almost pulled off the 100-point swing. And I'm assuming he came from second, maybe third card to get the win. So
wow,
gotta love that. Good shooting to Miles Seaborn, and he's quietly his rating is up to 1025. So we'll see if he sticks with mostly Texas events and the GBO. I know he plays that every year, but let's see if he branches out and plays any other big ones. That'll be an interesting one to watch because he's definitely a gamer.
And as you said, you gotta love that. He loves that. What a feeling! What a feeling when you're somewhere first through 7th or first through 13th or 11th maybe.
He was 10th place.
Okay, you did the math. So you're first through 9th. And then all of a sudden, and you're thinking, I did or didn't have such a great round. And you come in and like, oh, Miles is like, see ya. And he shoots all the way up and pushes you down. So congratulations. Yeah. Nice shooting.
Yeah, and I talk about myself. I actually, I got some of my, a few years ago, I guess this would probably be, 2012-ish, right around there. But in Springfield, Illinois, was playing, and I came from, I think, the third card, and won the tournament. But my final hole was this really, really tough par 4 at Lincoln Park, hole number 4, and it's this downhill tight hole, OB left, and then you end up throwing over a pond and throwing through this over a fountain. And I actually threw in for eagle. My VP putter at the time touched the water in the fountain and went in. And I won from the third or fourth card, and that was That was my last hole. It was a pretty wild finish. I wonder if Miles, had to throw through a fountain or anything. But anyways, enough of my yesteryear.
Your heroics.
My glory.
The older Dana's daughter gets, the more it's going to be back in my day.
Yeah. Back when I had huge hair and it was way up.
No, you didn't, Dad.
No, really. Check out this fro. It's like it was this big.
Oh, I can still grow the fro out, but we'll see. So yeah, back to present day, and out in Fountain Hills at the King of the Hills, there was a B tier, and Anthony Barela, he got himself a little pro victory over Paul Ulibarri and Pete Ulibarri. Pete finished in third, but Anthony and Paul finished in a tie for first place. And little AB, not so little, he took it down.
And I think I saw that they were 1-2 last year. I think they went 1-2 spots. I know I was doing a little bit of trying to steal your job earlier this weekend, but I think that's what I saw, is something like that. They may have even tied or something. Maybe that was the case, but good battle, and I think he's clearly going to be a force to continue to be reckoned with out there in Arizona. Yeah. And I mean, he might be in high school, so I don't know just how much he's going to be able to travel everywhere, but anytime he's out on tour, he's clearly proving it this weekend. Proving it now. Already has a second place and now first place early in 2016.
You mentioned high school. Who's the best high school disc golfer right now?
I think you have to give it to AB.
What about Eagle?
Eagle's graduated now, or is he still in? I thought
Eagle's a vegan. Like 14, he's right? A vegan. He doesn't eat.
Has Eagle graduated or not? I thought last year was his senior year, but I could be wrong.
Okay, you might be right. I thought he was still in that high school. I'm typing into Facebook right now to see if I can.
I don't want you scoping around some high school profiles, Dana.
We call this segment Dana Stalks High School Kids.
All right, it looks like Eagle McMahon was born in 1998.
Doesn't make me feel any younger.
Yeah.
Where's our math guy?
Well, that makes him 18. I believe he's 17 right now.
All right.
Okay.
So maybe he's still in school.
I feel like I do feel like Johnny was right. Eagle's probably out on the board. I'm sure he could.
He'll be out there later, I'm sure.
Yeah, at some point he could let us know. But I thought there was something about finishing a semester early, possibly, or something like that. That might have been the case.
Well, I mean, you're right. If Eagle is still in school, you kind of have to maybe give it to Eagle. If not, then AB, and followed up. I mean, by Isaac.
I think it's not kind of have to. It's you have to give it to Eagle. Yeah. He's won a couple A tiers. He's definitely won a number of events. Lead card at Worlds, lead card GBO, and I'm sure there's a few other big events I'm talking about. But we got the Memorial coming up here in a few short weeks. When is the Memorial, Terry?
Less than 4 weeks away. I think we're talking about.
Are you boys ready?
Ready for what, Dana?
We've got some stuff to do.
You're gonna be live, right?
Oh, we're always live, Dana. No matter where we are, we're always live.
Sorry, I was trying to facilitate conversation.
No,
of course.
Yes. Our goal is to be live out at the Memorial. We haven't made any official announcements, I guess, until now, but it's pretty well common knowledge that we've covered it the last 2 years.
Last year was live.
Didn't we?
The year before was not.
Oh,
we just missed it.
Oh, that's right. We did. We were in talks about it, but so we're hoping to be live this year at the Memorial, and we've been in talks with Keith Murray about things like leader cards and times and all that other good stuff.
Good players.
Good players. We've got some equipment that we got in, so we're looking forward to some sweet action.
Well, that's pretty cool. New equipment. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bore everybody anymore and ask about what new equipment it is. As long as you guys put out a good product, I'll be happy, and I'm sure the rest of the other, hopefully thousands and thousands of disc golfers tuning in will be happy.
Well, and you won't be there. We can talk about that briefly here. You're not attending the Memorial this year. However, a week later, you're going to find yourself out at the Disc Golf World Tour opening event.
That is true.
So what's that like, not going to be at the Memorial? I mean, you've been a staple there.
Yeah, it's obviously I'm not all that thrilled about it, but again, with having a baby human and my wife being a teacher, and I just can't leave for long periods of time. And the Memorial starting on Wednesday and ending Saturday, to go to that, I'm essentially going to be missing the whole week.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to, I guess I could fly in Tuesday night or something, but at the same time, that's leaving Ashley solo for the week, while if I I am going to the World Tour, I'm only going to be gone Wednesday through Saturday, and it's a little more doable, and yeah, I'm excited about the World Tour, and I'm excited about all of the new tours, and yeah, I want to see what that's all about. But yeah, now that I say it, not being on the nightly podcast at the Memorial.
Dana, you can drive up. There'll be an empty seat next to me.
Yep.
We can get you on the.
Yeah, there you go. That's one way you could still be involved.
But the good news is for the Smashies out there, even though I won't be hitting the nightly podcast, I will be able to maybe assist Terry and Johnny on some back end things, stats or otherwise. So maybe I can still help out a little bit.
Yeah, and we do have confirmation. Eagle is technically still in high school because he is homeschooled. Mm-hmm. So but he will be graduating coming up this year. So
there you go. I was going to say the best, otherwise maybe one of the best high schoolers right now, Drew Gibson. He's oh no, okay, he's like 20. But
I didn't make that joke.
That was me picking on you. That's what I do. Yeah. Good stuff. Dana, do you have any updates from the event taking place in Florida? And then as you cut out, I think you're going to have a great segue to a Floridian when you do so. But any other events that you need to update us with?
Yeah, it just looks like there was a B tier down in Florida, and Josh Childs took home the victory. There's some pretty good competition going on there. Charlie Goodpasture in second. Zach Melton, current best lefty in the world, third place. Johnny McRae, fourth place. Young Vinny Calvin Heinberg in fifth place. So some pretty good competition. Josh Childs, he went 10-18, 10-08, 10-65 to seal the victory. So nice shooting there, Josh. And yeah, like you said, this will segue into our next guest. I won't spill the beans on who's undefeated on the year and one on the ladies' side over there. I'll let her tell everybody about it. Looks like it was a little comeback. But.
Yeah. I think she's got a story about that, which we're pretty excited to hear. Nice women's division. No Kenny. I guess if we're gonna talk about anything down in Florida, there, no Kenny playing down there this weekend, right?
Nope, no Kenny. I feel like I don't remember seeing his name on these results in the past. Okay. It's the Suwannee Open. It's a really cool place. It's a concert venue. It's got a couple courses, a lot of cool things going on. The pictures look really cool, and I could be wrong, but I don't think historically Kenny has played that. So we didn't see him here again this year, but yeah, pretty big field, and I would have loved to played some disc golf down in the sun this last weekend, but I played around in the rain here on Sunday, and but I thoroughly enjoyed that. So
and Dana, this before we let you go, we got rain here in Wisconsin. I'm running a C tier about 2 hours north of us.
There's like
up in
a snowpocalypse up there.
Yeah, exactly. So 2 hours north of us, I think they got pounded as we got plenty of rain today. We were supposed to get a few inches of snow. It's going to I don't know if it's 6, 8, 10 inches that they're getting up there where I'm hosting the tournament. How did you guys fare today?
We got hammered. It rained all day. It was probably mid-30s and just rain. And unfortunately for me, that I'm running the 5th annual Pine Hills Ice Bowl this Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And, I know a lot of people, myself included, always hope to use carts at Pine Hills, but with the weather being above freezing and then with the precipitation, it's going to be pretty soggy. So I'm not going to totally rule it out because I don't know what the weather's going to do, but most likely we will not have carts this Saturday. But it should still be a good time. We've got the pro shop. They're going to be cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner, full bar, and all that. It's always a good time at Pine Hills and at the Ice Bowl. So if anyone's not doing anything, take a ride over.
Yeah, now if we didn't just sell a couple of events on you there, 30 degrees, rainy, and a recent dumping of snow. That's where I was going with all this. I mean, we know a way to sell some great disc golf up here in the Midwest.
Yep. Well, let's get some sunshine up in here and talk to Madison. But real quick, I do want to throw a big hug out to my buddy Joe Lozano. He came to visit me at the Park and Rec show, and I unknowingly forgot or didn't know that you need to have a pass just to even get in the exhibit hall. And security was maybe a little tighter than it should have been, but they would not let Joe come check out the disc golf park booth and whatever other booths he wanted to see. But Joe went out of his way. He brought me a CTP, so I ran up, took a couple-minute break there, and said hi to Joe, and he dropped a CTP or a raffle prize for the Ice Bowl. So big hug to Joe. Last year he tried to come and it was lunch break, so he's just had some bad luck. But he said he might come out to Pine Hills this weekend. So if he does, I got you a beer, Joe.
There you go. Very nice. All right, Dynamite, we're gonna cut you loose. We appreciate you joining us. Thanks for the weekend updates around the tour. And as you said, it's time to move on to the Undefeated, and still winning. Still, I don't know what she is. We're gonna move on. Have a great night, Dana.
See ya.
See ya. All right, and as we said, now we're going to dial up one Madison Walker. She said she is available. I do appreciate it. I had reached out to her. We were talking just in the last day or two about potential guest, and I thought that she had a really good story from this weekend, so it made perfect sense to see if she was available, and she obliged. And like we said, she's going to be pageless. But I know she's got more than enough sunshine to bring to the show. So.
She does.
And we will have her here in just a few moments.
I am working on...
Oh, now you're having some kind of issues. Is that what the issue is here?
Yeah.
Some kind of technical glitch?
You could call it that.
Wow.
I know.
So maybe it wasn't all Dana's fault? Is that
No, it was totally Dana's fault.
Oh, okay. Good. Just wanted to make sure of that. So go out and tell your friends. We're going to have Madison here joining us in just a few moments, as soon as we can get some Skype issue.
Yeah, Skype is really being
difficult.
A not nice word.
I
agree with Dana. Well, I'm going to do one thing.
And
then we're going to get her. We're going to get her on. She might be able to. She might not be able to see us, but we'll have her. But we'll be able to see her.
Okay.
So
that's one way to do it. While we're waiting on that, I'm going to fill a little time and let you guys know that I did release a couple additional video blogs since last week. Specifically, I had put out the putting finals, and I know it was a little overdue. I didn't realize I was so much on the hook for it, but I did finally get it out. It is the Glass Blown Open putting finals. Took place between Jay Redding and Nico LaCastro. And certainly neither of them are strangers to being in putting championships and putting finals. So if you want to go check that out, you can. Of course, it's out there on the Disc Golf Guys YouTube page. The putting finals championships between Nico LaCastro and Jay Redding at the block party at the GBO. Certainly something to look forward to. And our winner, a winner from the block party last year, was in fact our next guest in Madison Walker. I think we can bring her onto the show. She looks ready to go.
She is ready to go.
If she can hear us.
She can hear us. She can't see us, and that's on our fault. Just don't worry about it.
So sit back and relax. Welcome to the show, Madison Walker. How are we doing tonight?
Good. How are you? I cannot see you. Is that
you can't?
Yeah. There's an issue on our side with some Skype stuff. So
you're better off that way.
I have to just look at myself.
Yeah, we're better off.
You're better off that way.
Yeah, not a problem. So Madison, welcome to the show. How are we doing tonight?
Doing good.
Good.
Just hanging out.
And you're home. Let's start there. The fact that you're in Florida, you're in your home territory.
You know how I know she's in Florida?
The flamingo.
Flamingo behind her.
That might be a good tip off.
Oh yeah, you can see my flamingo.
It was either that or the leopard print blanket.
Oh, my mom loves leopard print.
That screams Florida to me. So you're home. How does that feel? You're not on the road. You're not sleeping in a car or at some disc golf family's house. What's that feel like?
It's great. I mean, I was looking forward to it for a while. The longer you're on tour, the more you look forward to getting home, and it's good to be here and relax. And obviously, my doggy. Oh, it's always good to see him too. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be weird for me to get used to not talking to a face and only talking to my own face. So
nothing you can do there, Johnny?
Nope, nothing I can do unless I shut the whole thing down.
Oh, sorry.
Nope.
Should we? I could take here. How about this? I'll take a picture and then I'll send it to you.
No.
And then you could just stare at that. No.
Okay, how about I'll just look at the I'm gonna watch those comments.
Watch the comments. That's a great plan.
There you go.
So yeah, it's good to be home. Good to be with my family. Actually, it's funny. Paige is coming tomorrow.
Okay.
We'll be here tomorrow morning to visit, and we got to kind of get the car packed up, get ready to start tour in a couple weeks. So.
And that was going to be my next question: is what's next for the two of you? What's next?
Suwannee was my first event of the year, and then I'm supposed to. I signed up for Barnett Park, which is in Orlando, not this weekend, but next weekend. I haven't decided if I'm going to go yet because the weekend after that is Gentlemen's Club, and Paige, she wanted to go practice for the Memorial the week before Gentlemen's Club, and then because there's only 2 or 3 days in between, and the courses are crowded and all that. So if I went to Barnett Park the weekend before Gentlemen's Club, I wouldn't have time to practice. I don't know. It's kind of a lot of like pretty much if I want to do anything in Florida this year, I have to cram it in, which sucks because all the Florida events are like at the same time as other events. But
okay, so speaking of the Suwannee that you played this last weekend, Dana quickly touched on it, but talk about that experience and what it was like.
I like how Dana pronounced Suwannee.
Suwannee.
I wasn't about to correct him. I would just let it go, but
that made me laugh. But yeah, Suwannee's it's one of the first PGA events I ever played. Maybe last year. 2 years ago. It was probably one of the first ones I ever played, and it's just one of those kind of magical places, like sort of like Vibram, where you get there and you kind of get a good feeling, good juju, and I just a lot of my homies, a lot of my good friends from Florida all come and play at that course every year, and we'll just go kind of camp and play for fun. It's beautiful, and it's challenging, very challenging. So it was good.
Now, clarify for me, is it a temp course, or did there used to be a temp course there, or what's kind of the situation there? Because I know there's been other events there throughout the years, and I've always kind of wondered what exactly is happening down there.
There's hold on a second. There is the regular course, which is called the Magnolia. We call it Maggie for short. And they have shorts and short pads, long pads, short pins, and long pins. And they'll change it up during the weekend. And then they added a temp course, which has apparently been there for, I think, about a year, but I haven't played it before because usually the Suwannee Open is a smaller event, but they had such a big reaction to it this year, they had to add another course, which I'm glad they did because we had a huge crowd of people and it was really fun. But it was just kind of, you're just like, I would call it like sort of a beginner friendly course. I mean, some of the holes are a little long for beginners, but anywhere between 200, 250 up to like 450, I think. They had some fun, basket placements and stuff, but it was really straightforward, wide open, impossible to lose a disc. But
okay.
Yeah.
And then because of your success this weekend, I was going to ask, do you feel like the course at all suited you, or was it more of a mind thing, or what was it that helped?
Well, I love wooded golf. I'm like Holly in that sense. We both are obsessed with wooded golf. It's my favorite thing. But ever since switching to backhand, it's been a lot more challenging because, forehand, I was always able to, look at my line and hit it consistently. And backhand, you're pulling your head a lot. So it's something I've been trying to figure out. So I would have thought, if you had asked me, that I would do really well on Magnolia, the wooded course, but I did not so great there. And then you put me in the open field, and I've been working a lot on distance and on hitting. I've been doing a little bit of field work. I wouldn't say very much, but I've been doing a lot of putting practice and throwing. The courses I've been practicing are more wide open. And so I guess for this weekend, it really suited me. I also kind of got the mentality that I wanted to catch up, and I kind of prepared myself, and I did well in the field course, better than I would have expected. That's for sure.
So you had a sizable field of 7 women. Anytime we see 7 pro women at just about any tournament, that's becoming that's a good thing, unless you're at a really big event where we're seeing larger fields, of course. And you said you were down. Did you say you were second from last?
I was tied for second to last.
Okay.
I was tied for 6th. And we were all still pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best score was a 59. I had it pulled up. Hold on.
Yeah, best score was a 59. You were sitting at 62.
Okay.
Yes.
So it was relatively tight.
It was not my best rated round ever, but I try not to pay too much attention to ratings. But yeah, it didn't feel too good about it just because my putting was a little rough. But yeah, after that, I knew that's not where I wanted to be sitting, and it's my favorite place, so I wanted to perform well there as well. But yeah, I went from second to last, and then I shot the hot round the second round, which I was not expecting because it's wide open. And then yeah, so somehow managed to hold on the most challenging layout at Maggie, which is the long pad to the long pin location, which is, if you want a challenging wooded course, go to Suwannee when it's in the long pin location. It is something else.
So an extra kind of a little extra feel good knowing that you went out on a very tough course. You outperformed the rest of the pro women, especially in that second round, and you were able to capture the win. Now, this is your first open win, and you've only been playing how many years?
This is, yeah. Well, I got an open win at the end of the year last year, but there was only one other woman in the field with me.
Okay.
And then a couple years ago, before I ever went on tour, before me and Paige were friends,
mm-hmm.
I got a couple open wins, but they were small, like 2 or 3 women. But
Okay.
I would say this is my biggest tournament.
Okay.
And I started playing PDGA events 2 years ago.
Yes, and now was the Throwdown the Mountain where I ran into you, was that your first PDGA event?
No, that was my first PDGA event was in 2014.
Okay, that sounds about
like towards the end of the year.
Okay.
Like Worlds was 2000. Oh, geez, I'm getting all mixed up. Yeah,
no,
2014 Worlds was like I think my 4th PDGA event ever.
Yeah, and I was thinking Throwdown the Mountain earlier in March might have been your first ever. But anyway, doesn't matter. You haven't been playing that long. You're undefeated in 2016. Now that's what matters.
That's weird to think about.
I mean, it's all about the marketing of it, really. I mean, I would be renegotiating some of your sponsor contracts. Be like, I didn't think I was going to bust out so big this year, but here I am.
The phone tomorrow.
Does Paige act as your agent in any way, shape, or form?
Oh, I think Paige was more excited than me about it. She called, obviously she wasn't there, so she blew my phone up and everyone that I was with, which I appreciate. And then I called her and told her, and she was like, yes! So she was excited, and more excited than I was almost.
I'll admit, that's how I found out. I was on the Facebooks, and Paige had made a post or a comment or a status update, something about or wifey or BFF or however she referred to you, saying that you were waiting on getting the win. So that was awesome. What's that feel like? You've got world champion Paige Pierce calling you, congratulating you after a big win. How does that feel?
And you've got more wins than her this year.
Gosh, I mean, wow. I mean, that is definitely the first way that I think of Paige is world champion. Every time I see her, I'm like, wow, I can't believe you're my friend. I'm not worthy.
That's amazing. And she called you and everything.
Not worthy. No, no, it's, she's one of my best friends, so it's always good to hear from her.
All right.
Congratulatory.
So let's talk a little bit about what we can expect. I think we can expect the unexpected out of you guys, but what can we expect out of you guys, the two of you, as you're traveling and you're making your plans here for 2016?
Waterfalls, canyons, flowers, and trees.
We have big plans.
And slow motion
spinning
jams. No, slow-mo jams.
Yeah, slow motion videos all year for sure.
Okay.
We have big plans. We both kind of have adventure bugs right now, so we're playing a lot of tournaments. We're both really interested in the Pro Tour, so we're both gonna, we're both proponents of that. Especially me. I'm super excited about playing all those tournaments, and I really like the way they're doing everything. So I'm big. Pro Tour is awesome. But we have a lot of stuff planned. We have a couple 2-week breaks, or 1 weekend breaks, or 2 weekend breaks in a row where we have some adventures planned. We're trying to hit Zion and maybe hike a slot canyon. We're gonna try to maybe do Havasupai Falls and the Grand Canyon. And we really want to spend some time in British Columbia because we've been looking at a whole bunch of pictures.
Wow.
But,
awesome.
We have some big plans.
Yeah, I see you're all smiles about those big plans.
Oh yeah.
She's excited.
I think
I have my little planner right here with everything in it.
Okay. So between Smashbox and the Disc Golf Guy, we're going to have you as our maybe one of our road reporters. Possibly we could have you submit some video and some vlogging of sorts or something back to us that we could share with the rest of the world.
I'd love to do some vlogging.
Okay.
Vlogging.
Yeah. Is it going to be Eagle McMahon style vlogging or not?
I think we could go anyway. I think definitely, obviously, everything Eagle does is very inspiring. So
there you go. Best high school player in this game right now.
Best Nugget.
Best Nugget, yes, I heard that asked out on the page. So, touring around, is there anything that's? I mean, you talked about those plans and having a lot of fun, but is there any event that you're thinking, okay, we're trying for the first time, or we've heard so much about, or do you feel like you're kind of in a consistent game plan from what you saw last year?
We're definitely doing. I wish I had my planner right next to me, but I don't. We're definitely, like I already said, I'm excited about some of the events on the Pro Tour.
Mm-hmm.
The Green Mountain we heard a lot about in Vermont last year. So I'm looking forward to that immensely. Anything in Vermont I'm very excited about. I met a lot of really nice people during the Vibram last year. Besides that, I think we're going to be doing, especially for the beginning of the year, we're going to be doing just about the same thing. Instead of, last year I did Throw It on the Mountain. This year I committed to doing the VTI, the Virginia Team Invitational. So I think me and Paige are both going to play in that event. Okay. Which we're both excited about that. It's a whole really awesome group of people in Virginia and North Carolina and all that. So yeah. But besides that, it's going to be about the same. We're going to do the Minnesota Majestic as well. We're excited about that. Yeah,
that wasn't one that was on your calendar last year, actually, was it?
No, it was just it just didn't fit in with the the flow of everything. But even if it doesn't this year, we're going to do it. I'm super excited about AM Worlds. That was one of my favorite things we did last year. And I'm going to try to not as extensive as Dana, of course, but I want to do some more clinics. Hopefully, as I learn more, I'll be able to be better at teaching, and that's one of my favorite things to do. So hope to do more of that.
Well, at the end of last year, you had kind of showed some frustration with your putting game, and coming now into the beginning of this year, your first tournament, undefeated. What did you do during the off season to help you regain your putting stroke, so to speak? Because I know you were reaching out to some people asking about form and all sorts of stuff.
I think a lot of, with my putting issue, it's my first time ever. I would call it the yips. And I had heard about them before I got them myself, but I think most of the yips, the more I do it, the more I practice. I read a book recommended to me by my friend Zach Melton called Zen Golf that was awesome, and it kind of just really broke down in your head on what you're thinking or what you should be thinking while you're putting. So I think a lot of the yips, which is what I was doing at the end of last season, is mental. It's mostly all mental. And the more you practice, the more confident you get, and the stronger your mental game gets without you having to even do anything. Just standing and making, a bunch of 20-foot putts in a row over and over, even 15-foot putts in a row over and over again. Like I would stand and just do 200 in a row every day. I think that's what helped more than anything. It's just about putting in the time, and you don't have to go practice banging 30-footers or banging outside the circle and jump putts. I just practice little simple 15-foot putters or 15-foot putts over and over and over and over again. Even though it gets boring, that is all that made it better. I also switched my putter. That's strange. I just switched my putter to the Colt. So
wow. So sticking with that low profile, you were using a Discmania disc that was very similar to the XD, and
yes.
So sticking with a very low profile putter. That's an interesting call.
Yeah, it's a little bit straighter, so I don't have to put as much wrist action into it to make it go, so it won't be spinning as hard, and it won't be skipping and rolling and cutting through as bad. So I'm really happy with it. It's XT plastic, which I don't know how that will do in the summertime, but we'll find out.
Might be a little bit softer for you.
Yeah, but strangely at Suwannee this weekend, the first round I had the yips again. It was like I guess first tournament of the year jitters. And I pretty much airballed almost every putt.
Oh.
Whoops.
Yips. So when we had caught up with both you and Paige at the end of last year, there was the conversation about off-season routine, off-season exercising, the whole 9 yards, all of that kind of stuff. Do you feel like you got in what you wanted to, and are you going to do anything specific in the next 2 to 3 weeks yet before you hit the road?
Well, yeah. I kind of decided that last year I had a bunch of fun. I didn't necessarily do as well in tournaments as I wish I would have, but I think it's attributable to the fact that I did not practice before the season. I was kind of a rookie. But this year I said, I'm going to put time in, I'm going to practice, I'm going to work out. And I did. I got sick a couple times, which throws your whole routine off. But I've been playing with the club a handful of times. The Castellinas, there's a family around here that I've been playing with a bunch. And there are three boys, and I'm sure everyone's seen doing the putting videos.
Yep. Very impressive.
Yeah, I played a putting game with the three of them at one. Or actually, I think it was just the two younger ones at a little Southern Nationals event, and we were playing a putting game, and they just completely tore me up. I talked about beat my butt. And after we got done, they were like, Madison, I mean, you're a pro. Aren't you supposed to be beating us at this kind of stuff?
Ouch.
And I know, I got so embarrassed. I was like, you're right. Maybe I should. So as soon as it's kind of like they whipped my butt into shape, I immediately went out. I started practicing every day, and it's amazing what happens if you just put in 10 minutes a day around a basket. So
yeah.
they got my butt into shape, and we go out and play. I go and play with them, I try to once or twice a week. And I try to play at least 9 holes a day. So
well, I would say it has a lot to do. You talked about 15, 20 footers, whether it's your putting stroke or your mind game, or even just as simple as the confidence of just simply watching, those putts go in, making sure that you know what that feeling is like. I know whether it was Climo and or others throughout many years, like when 2 minutes is blown, you want to make sure you're never walking away from that putting basket. Oh, I just missed three 38 footers, and I'm going to go start my round. You want to jam in that last couple putts so that you have a nice good feeling as you're about to go start your round. And I think not enough people do that. They feel like, well, I got to look cool and tough and make some 33 footers because Madison's watching me. I better go make these.
It's a really bad habit, though, a lot of people do it, too. They're like, oh, I putted bad and practiced before the round, so that means I'm going to putt good during the round. Or, oh, I banged every putt, in warm-up, so now I'm going to suck. Like, I think people are in a bad habit of trying to make too much out of warm-ups when all you're really doing is warming up. And you can't take anything that happens while you're warming up onto the course with you. It's a completely, people are way in their heads with putting. It's crazy. And once you get out of there, it's just insane how much your game will improve without having to even try. If you can just learn how to clear your head and forget about your warm-ups and forget about all the practice you've done, it's a slow process, and I've only just barely got over that barrier, and I still, backpedal all the time. But once you can get there, it's just insane how much it helps.
I like to putt from inside the circle before tournaments for a couple of reasons. One, like you said, the confidence, and two, I like to think, well, this is where I'm going to be. It's usually inside the circle on my drive, or my fourth throw,
yeah,
but still inside the circle at some point.
Yeah, I mean, because everything outside the circle is bonus.
The circle.
Yeah, you say you only practice inside the circle, pretty much.
During practice. I mean, I'll practice longer ones. Just like right now, I'm doing it just to figure out how my new putters, will glide outside the circle. But practice, if I'm going out to putt for practice, I am inside the circle the entire time.
That's where they count.
Yep.
If I'm warming up for a tournament, I will usually even stay inside of 25. Like I don't even. I like to stay right near the basket. You just get a better feeling. And if you're making all of your short putts, you'll make a lot of your long putts too.
Yeah, exactly, because you might just be exerting a little bit more when you're doing it. I totally agree with you. And that's why when I think people start putting, start at 6, 8, 10 feet, take 2 steps back, take 2 steps back, take 3 steps back is the opposite.
Slide.
No. And to touch on exactly what you're talking about when it comes to whether it's a superstition or a jinx or whatever you want to call it, I have my own little one in a similar sense when it comes to starting holes. For instance, assuming I know the course, if I'm starting my round during the first round and I start on hole 9, I won't go practice 9 through 18. I'm more likely to go to hole 1 and play 1 to 8 and then get to 9. Because I don't want to pre-throw, it's weird.
Like false expectations.
Yeah, and I just, again, and you're exactly right, it shouldn't matter whatsoever, but I'd rather, when I get to hole 9, and I'm playing it for the first time, I want to be that being a fresh throw. Because you always have that idea of like, oh yeah, what if I ace it or park it here in practice, and then I got to start on that hole. I don't know.
But I mean, how many times when you're throwing do you throw the same shot twice in a row? Like barely ever, but it does happen. So
no,
you could ace it and not ace it again. That would be awesome. But
no, but to agree with your point, that's trivial and silly on my part. I shouldn't even be thinking about that whatsoever. But that's one of the silly routines I picked up over the years, is to not go anywhere near the starting holes that I'm going to start the tournament on. I'll start behind those and play up to that point to get warmed up. But
that's weird. I always throw the hole I'm about to start on a million times without even thinking twice.
Well, and
I suppose if you throw it a bunch, then there's less expectation. If you walk up and you're just, it's like, oh, I'm gonna throw a drive up there. If you hit a tree, then you're thinking, oh God, I hit that tree. If you park it, you're thinking, am I gonna park it during the round? The next one. So, but if you throw like 5, 6, 7 throws at it, I guess there's a lot less expectation to have.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't been, I guess newly approaching disc golf in a while, but this whole backhand thing, I pretty much assume every time I throw that I could park it or I could just completely saw one off into the woods every time. Like,
Wow.
I never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's not the mentality you want to be going into the season with there, Madison.
No, I think it helps, though. It's just complete and utter no expectations at all.
Okay.
Okay.
Like Zoe says, get to 0, just clear your mind and just expect to throw.
I think sometimes you'll play your best round if you only bring 1 disc because you have no expectations at all.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, wow, I can putt with a 13-speed driver. Weird.
Yep. Well, we've seen that in our local league, 1 and 2 disc nights. Players will come out and when they're normally shooting, 4 or 5 down, they'll come out and shoot 10, 11, 12. So
Yeah, sometimes it's just taking away the options. I think really helps people get things dialed in and realize, oh yeah, I could throw this disc in this situation.
Yeah, it's when you don't have expectations, I think everything from your hand-eye coordination is just a lot more pure, a lot more smooth. It all just, you kind of let go instead of being like, I need to turn this disc the perfect way.
Well, I'll say though, and when I think about my silly routine, and then I watch a Paul Macbeth warm up, for instance, and he can take 5 discs out, and all 5 discs are exactly where he wants them to be in practice, and then I watch him play 4 consecutive rounds, and all 4 of those drives were exactly where his previous 5 were. That's when I'm like, yeah, I don't have the mind game for this. I mean, there's a physical capability, but there's, because I always think when you throw that perfect shot, how are you going to go duplicate it? You just threw the perfect shot or a near perfect shot, and now you have to do it again. And somehow I let that play against me instead of for me. So I think you've got some good advice there in terms of getting it dialed in. Any other tips or tricks that you learned in this year? Everyone, asking what you're drinking. That's not not Cristal. Somebody thought it was.
I got a 4-pack from my mom, and I really like them too, I guess.
Any tips or tricks? You were out there as a road warrior this last season with a seasoned traveler in Paige, but
seasoned is an understatement. She is a road warrior is an understatement.
Okay.
She kills it.
And other than making sure she sets the alarm clock, what were some of the other tips and tricks you learned this year?
You learn how to pack light. I can't say I'm good at that yet.
Okay.
Paige's car is definitely always full of just all my stuff.
What do you overpack? Clothes? Are you like a?
Yeah, clothes, discs. I don't know if anyone remembers last year of my ridiculous, like when Paige left her car in Pensacola and then flew back home, and then I drove her car there, and I showed up with, I'm talking about hundreds of discs, like for no reason at all. At that point I was using 14 discs in my bag, 14 discs, including my putters, and I just showed up with boxes on boxes of discs. But I've learned how to thin my bag out a lot, so that's good. That came in the season. Still, Paige probably would disagree. But clothes. But I'm learning more about that. You don't need less is more. Other than that, I bring a whole bunch of stuff that she never would have brought with her before, like binoculars, and like I've convinced her to keep a tent in the car and a sleeping bag. Now we both have hammocks.
Okay. Yep. Some of the finer things in life when you're on the road.
Everyone needs to turn it down a notch once in a while.
Dare I ask where your favorite? Could you pinpoint it? That's why I dare to ask it. But could you pinpoint your favorite location off the course in 2015?
Yeah, I'd say Oneonta Gorge in Portland in the Columbia River Gorge area was breathtaking. It's like you walk down this long gorge. There's moss all over the walls, and the rock walls, and they're huge, and it's freezing cold water the whole way. It was amazing. That was awesome. Pretty much everything we did in California, like all the redwood stuff, was cool. I had a great time in Vibram. Yeah, okay. I'd say my favorite is always going to be like the outskirts of Portland, and then New York was really awesome. Like we went to Ithaca, which is where all the waterfalls were. Pretty much, we went to 2 different waterfalls every day. So,
wow,
obviously that was cool.
And you just spoke a few minutes ago about thinning your bag and the bag that you carry. You want to talk a little bit about, obviously you're sponsored by Innova, but talk a little bit about what you think you're going to have with you this year.
Well, I got a bag.
In what bag? Yeah.
Yeah, I got a bag sponsor last year around Worlds, Upper Park. I had carried disc golf bags before, and they were fine. They did their job, but like I've never actually ranted and raved about my bag. I don't even know how they do it, but I love my Upper Park bags. I have 2 of them, and they're amazing. One of them is smaller, it's the one I usually use, and it's the one that's kind of forced me to narrow down my disc selection. It was difficult when I was trying to throw backhand and forehand, because I feel like you have to have so many different discs.
And left-handed discs and
tomahawk.
Yep.
But yeah, like as I, when I was only forehand, I had a small amount of discs, and now that I'm only backhand temporarily, I've narrowed my disc selection down a lot. I've also tried to stop using like old expensive discs. So pretty much anytime someone's like, you should try this out, I'm like, well, how easy would it be for me to get another one? And if I can't, I won't throw it.
Bravo.
Yes, very smart.
Yeah, but I still have a couple that I, am stuck on. But
baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps. It's kind of cool how Innova does have so many discs available. You can overlap a lot. You can work like everyone throws a T-bird. You can work a T-bird a million different ways, and a turn. You can work a turn a million different ways, and it's made me be able to thin my bag out. And I've just started doing what I said earlier about doing like a 2-disc round or a 3-disc round, and seeing just how really versatile you can make your discs with how you throw them. So yeah.
Awesome. Any other new sponsors or supporters that you've you've picked up here in the off season?
Nope, not right now. Just those two, and I'm very, very, very happy with both of them. They are absolutely amazing and so helpful.
I would think Adidas has to be calling her soon. I mean,
oh my gosh.
Undefeated.
Undefeated.
Don't tease me because I love Adidas. Like, you don't even know. I am like obsessed with Adidas. They do the best patterns, and I love colors and patterns. So
it sounds like a done deal to me.
Yeah. We know a guy.
Yeah, we'll get Paul on the line. We'll have Paul make a call. Better
I've
call
already
Paul
made
instead of better call Saul. It'd be
That's
better
right.
call
Yep.
Paul, and he'll hook things up for you. How's that sound?
I already sent him a message on Facebook that I was like, "Hey, what's up, new best friend?"
If his feet are small enough, maybe he can help you out.
Yeah, you guys could share.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. He's got a good thing going with them. I'm super excited about that for the sport. Obviously having that big of a sponsor in our beloved sport is amazing. I always thought it would be Nike with Paul, but I'm happy it's Adidas. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I think we've seen a number of different shoe companies. Obviously, we've seen Keen, and then before that, we saw Bite, and some of the other shoe companies step in. Pardon the pun.
See what you did there.
But it's just great that we're seeing more and more support, and we have to start somewhere, and no better place to start with than our 4-time world champ than with Paul. So it's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else that excites you that we are looking into for here 2016?
How long are you going to be exclusively backhand?
I've been doing rehabilitating my elbow. I think I never went to a physical therapist and got it officially checked out, but I'm pretty sure it's golfer's elbow. It's the inside, top, and above and below my elbow bone right here.
Okay.
And a little bit on the tricep too. I've been rehabbing it, talking to a bunch of people. Like, I have some friends that are rock climbers, and it's apparently a common injury with rock climbers. So they have all of these, since rock climbers are so obsessed with physical fitness, they have all these pretty fascinating methods of rehab. So I've been doing stuff that they've been teaching me, trying to eat healthy because that's supposed to help, and then exercise all the muscles that are around it. And it's improved drastically. Like, it's awesome. So I don't think definitely not temporary, and I don't think it will last much longer. So I threw some last weekend in Suwannee to get out of trouble, and it felt great. I just haven't ripped any destroyers off the tee in a while.
What you talked about your putters. What are you throwing for mid ranges?
Right now I am I feel like a true Innova person now, but I am obsessed with my rocks. I used to absolutely despise them. I did not like how they felt at all. But I have an old, a Pro Rock 3 that's really flat, almost concave, that I love. And then I have an old rock that Paige gave me from, it's one of her old trophy discs from, I think, 2003 or something. But that she just had lying around, and it's my favorite disc ever. I threw it almost every hole last weekend. And I finally have figured out how to throw mid-ranges long, around 250. So I've been throwing those a lot. I throw Coyotes. I throw an MD3, a Discmania MD3. I use that a lot for rollers too, forehand rollers. But those are my mid-ranges.
And I gotta ask, you gotta have a whale sack in your bag, right?
I actually don't have one yet, but
I know a girl.
Tina and Paige corresponded last year, and Paige has a couple, and I'm probably going to try to get a couple. I don't actually use birdie bags of any sort, really.
Okay, well, if you do, you know where to go. I said if you do, now you know where to go, or you already knew where to go, but good stuff. No, Tina's been a big supporter. I think we're going to be working a little bit more with Tina, and I had some.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she's awesome for all women's disc golf for everything that she's doing. So we're great. All right, we're going to give you the last final few words here. Anything you need to share? Anything? Looks like he or she is out.
He's got a long day. That's bougie.
Anything you want to share? Totally open floor. If you got any, you talked about your sponsors, but if you want to send a shout out, anyone, anything, any event, any place, you name it, it's open floor for you.
Well, I'll shout out to all the people I got to see in Florida this past weekend, because I don't ever get to see them, or I haven't this past year at all. I've been absent. So shout out to all them. Shout out to Paige, because I don't think she's on the road yet, but she'll be on the road tonight, so hopefully Paige has safe travels.
She popped in on the chat board real quick and then popped
did
out.
she?
Yes.
I didn't even see her.
I'm assuming she was checking up on you. So.
Aww.
Make sure the alarm was set so you'd be ready to go.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty terrible at shout outs, so.
No, that's all right. We just didn't know if there's anything else you wanted to share before we let you go.
Nope, I'm feeling good. I feel like we covered probably too much, more than everyone wants to hear.
No, it was perfect.
Definitely not.
Well, I'd like to say thank you for joining the show. I know it wasn't as much lead time as we'd like to give everyone. I was going to say headway or lead time as much as we'd like to give everyone, but we thank you so much for joining. And
I'm really good at talking to my own face. That's weird strength.
It's a little bit of a...
I'll give you some funny dreams tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God.
So, again, thank you. Big hugs and shout out to all of your Florida people and your family. We're sure they're going to miss you while you're out on the road this year, but we're looking forward to seeing you again, and I'm sure we'll have you on the show a little later. How's that sound?
Yeah. I mean, if I make it that long. I've been up since about 6, so...
Okay, well, we'll have you on the show later on in the year.
Yeah,
too.
not later tonight, just later on. But you're always welcome on.
You're always welcome here. How's that?
Yeah, that
fair enough.
Good.
All right, we'll join you. Maybe here's where we'll leave it. You're gonna step in the Smashbox with us sometime at the Memorial during one of our nightly wrap up podcasts. How's that sound?
100% yes. I love the nightly wrap-ups.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. All right. The undefeated Madison Walker. We're going to let her go. She's got Adidas peeps to call. So we're going to let her go and have a good night. Thanks for joining us, Madison.
Yeah. Right. Good talking to y'all.
Good night.
Good night.
All right. And as we said, thank you to Madison for joining us tonight. Always good time to catch up with her.
So I don't know if she knows or not. I'm sure she does. But Kevin McCoy made a little post out there on our chat board saying that Paul hooked up the entire Innova team with 50% off Adidas products.
That sounds pretty awesome. That I saw that came in on our chat board. So yes, Kevin McCoy was saying that the Innova team has 50% off. So Madison's an Innova team member, of course. So if that's true and all those details are, then yeah, she should definitely be taking advantage of that. Dan Stevens is out on the board saying he'd rather listen to Madison than Terry and John.
I would rather listen to Madison than me or you too.
Yeah, us too. But Madison doesn't have her own podcast.
That's a good point.
So you have to listen to us.
Nobody has to listen to us.
That's how that works.
I mean, they could easily turn us off at any point, but they don't.
Here's what I think is funny is I thought Kevin might have been making that up, and maybe I think he was. Or either that or I don't know. Who knows? We'll see if that was in fact the case or not. But either way, again, thanks to Madison for joining us here tonight. We got a great group out on the board. As we said, Kevin McCoy, Dion Arlen is
Brian Schweberger.
The whip is out there, Brian Schweberger. So lots of good peeps out there taking it all in. I'm going to move forward with an announcement on my behalf.
What? Self-promotion from you? No way.
It's not as much self-promotion this time. But what I would like to say is I am incredibly ecstatic to announce that I've been working with Thad and through him and Hilltop, I think I'm going to Alaska.
Like forever?
Not forever. You can't get rid of me.
What you go whale watching?
No. I get my whale sex from Tina. I'm not doing any whale watching. Well, maybe I will while I'm there. No, I'm going to be checking out the King of the Hill taking place.
Awesome.
During July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, I believe are the dates. The first weekend in July, the 4th is a Monday, so that would make sense for 2nd and 3rd. And I'm incredibly ecstatic.
That's cool.
We're going to have a small crew of us looking to go. I'm just excited.
Who's going with you?
That's all I can say. Sounds like it's going to be a good friend of ours, Mike Schwieger and his wife. Might be a few family members, one or two, maybe my wife or others going
cool.
on our side. So we're going to have a pretty good time. Unfortunately,
I'm not going.
You're not going. That's my number. You can go. Do you want to go?
When is it?
July 1st through the 3rd.
Nah.
Okay. So here's the challenge, dare I use the term. The week before
Yep.
is the I got to put my all my days together. I believe is the Vibram Open or the Maple Hill Open presented by Vibram.
Yeah.
And the week after is the Silver Cup Open or the Silver Cup taking place in Manitowoc. Both of those two events that bookend on the 2 weekends are, of course, World Disc Golf Pro Tour events that we're covering, and then I may have 4 to 5 to 7 days in between in Alaska. So that's going to be an incredibly hectic time frame. So excited. Somehow we're going to make it work. I may not be able to get to stay there as long as I want to because I'm just coming off of work and have to get back to other work. And while I'm there, let me remind you, this is not a vacation.
No, I know you're there to do disc golf stuff.
I'm there to do disc golf work. So I'm excited to see the majestic views and to spend the time up there. I've never visited Alaska or anything of that nature, but I'm going to be up there covering the event. So I'm super excited. And some details you'll see later is they're helping me to get there, and there's some considerations there. However, they've also suggested or agreed to the idea that if I want to have the video blog coverage, so it will be recorded and put up in post, the video blog coverage, we're looking for a sponsor for it. So if somebody wants to help sponsor the actual coverage, they're open to that as well. So if you, your club, your company, your event later in the year, whatever it is, if you're interested in helping support the actual coverage of the event, you're welcome to do so. So reach out to me. Dion asks, do I have a day job?
Disc golf is your day job.
Disc golf is...
Stocking's your night job.
I was going to say, disc golf's my day and night job more often than not.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, you could say that. So yes, that's what I'll be doing. So it's going to be a hectic few weeks, but I'd like to thank Schwebby for all of his positive words and even the idea of being out there and being involved. Obviously, Brian Schweberger has been there a couple times, and I've been directly interacting with Thad, and he's been just awesome to work with.
That sounds great.
There you have it. Disc Golf Guy video blogs are going to go to Alaska for a few days.
Cool.
So there we go. So I guess if that's self-promotion, we'll call it that.
A little more, some announcements.
You win, not me. Okay, I guess we all win. We win because we get some video blogs. So, all right, there it is, folks. Going to be out there. William says he doesn't get paid for his night job. I don't think we're going to go any further with that one, William. So, very cool news on my end that I was excited to share and announce. You're going to see more from that. What else do we have out there on the news or social media?
We had covered earlier the 3 tours, their announcements, and that's kind of all I had. I see you have a little bit of a list. Yeah,
I don't have too much more. One thing that I just noted, thanks to Dana, actually, we were having a conversation. Will Schusterick released a new logo, and I think what makes me think about it is a few years ago we saw Avery Jenkins with a very clear, concise, AJ logo, and we've seen Drew Gibson when he was just picked up by DD a few weeks ago. They kind of went with the glasses, the outline of his face.
I like Drew Gibson's logo.
Yeah,
I think it's really clever.
I do too.
But does that mean he can never get contacts? Is he stuck with the glasses now
he
forever?
Might be. Yeah, I thought the same thing. So, so we've seen that, and then like I said, Will Schusterick just released a logo as well. I'm sure he's going to be putting it on discs and doing other things with it. But thought it was pretty cool to see it out there released the other day. So. I saw that, and we don't have any new trick shot videos from Simon. I think those are going to probably gear back up sometime as he hits the States or has some more camera people around him, even though some of those were done with his phone. Drew says that he never wears contacts while playing disc golf. And he's got his glasses, trademarks.
Perfect.
Very clever use of them. I don't know if we have anything else on the board. Otherwise, we can start to wrap things up here for our actual show tonight. Obviously, we're going to move in. We'll have a little bit of action on the after show.
We're going to have a guest on the after show.
We are. Dare I ask who this guest is going to be, or is it a surprise?
Surprise!
Is it me?
No.
Oh. Okay.
But, yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, we're gonna bring in a little guest on the after show.
Wow, so now they're really gonna have to stay tuned. So for those of you who don't know already, and some of you are new listeners, and we appreciate it, what we typically do on Tuesday nights is more often than not, we open with Dana, then we go on to another guest. Tonight was, in fact, Madison. Sometimes we bring in an additional reporter, someone like Zoe Andyke, and she may have a segment. Sometimes she doesn't. So that's what typically happens. We go over some news and other details here in the sport, and then we cut loose. Sometimes we have picks of the week.
We do. I don't have any picks right now.
I don't really either. Maybe we'll think of something after the show. But sometimes we'll have picks for the week. Paul Ulibarri reached out to us last week saying he'd like to start a new segment that talked about looking at tournaments ahead of time and then picking potential winners and keeping track of those. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think if he suggested, or I suggested, I think it was his idea, we call them Paul's Picks. I'm totally cool with that because it makes sense. But you and I would pick as well. So
yeah.
Paul and Terry and Johnny's picks, and I think that could be a lot of fun. I'm interested to see what he picks when some of his friends are involved at these events, and when the events do and don't involve him.
Is he going to pick against his brother in an Arizona event? Is he going to pick against, would we even do NT events that he's participating in? I don't know, because I can't imagine he'd ever pick against himself. You can't.
Not when you're that good.
Not when you're that good.
Eric out on the board is saying fantasy disc golf. Yeah, there actually has been a couple iterations of fantasy disc golf. Johnny V here himself had done a fantasy disc golf.
The very first one.
The very first one he's claiming. And then there was also another, I think, playfantasydiscgolf.com.
Fantasy DG.
Yeah, he had come out. I actually did a video blog with him a few years ago. I'm not sure that's really still in.
I haven't seen anything from that in a long time. Last year, I know there was one run on Reddit, but it looked like it was more manual calculations. I know the one that I did was all online. It was some different rules and things like that. And with the advancements in web tech, now, I mean, God, that was 10 years ago. I think I ran that.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah.
So, one of the questions, someone earlier in the night had said that we must be Panthers fans because we're both sporting so much blue.
What? Broncos aren't a blue team? Are we? They're blue and orange.
Yeah, I think you think of them more, though, as predominantly the orange. So I guess, do we want to make those our picks? Do we want to guess or project who may be Super Bowl winners?
Didn't we talk about this last week about how I had said it would be kind of cool to see Peyton Manning go out on top?
Yeah. Okay.
But I think the Panthers are the better team.
Okay, so you think the Panthers will win, but you'd rather see the Broncos win.
I don't really care who wins, to be honest.
Okay.
I just think it would be it would be fitting to see Peyton Manning go out on top.
Fair enough. I would more or less agree with that logic. That I know there's been a lot of talk about Cam Newton and whether or not his
attitude,
and
his flamboyance.
And what does it really mean?
Did you see the pants? This is almost all after show stuff. Did you see the pants he was wearing the other?
No,
probably not.
No.
They were like bright yellow, crazy pattern, like Versace. Like I mean, they look
hideous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like $2,000.
Of course.
800 or 9. I don't know, but it's kind of ridiculous. So.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and say, and I guess we're gonna divide a line. I don't care for the Panthers and most of their attitudes, or maybe just I'm bitter because they beat the Packers. I don't know, but not a fan. So if Manning can go on top and then hopefully play the smart move and retire, I'd be okay with that. So there you have it. No, I'm not drinking any Mountain Dew. I've cut out all soda recently, so thank you guys for keeping on me about that. But no Mountain Dews for me, and I'm not going to try Surge. I tried it years ago. Surge, I hated the commercials though.
Yeah.
But no, now I'm to the point where I'm cutting all soda. Have cut all soda for a week or two.
All right.
Okay. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to, of course, thank Dana for joining us. We'd like to thank Madison Walker, the undefeated champion of Smashbox thus far in 2016. That's Madison Walker. For Johnny V and myself, this has been podcast number 72. Stick around. We're going to have an after show. And there again, you can step inside the Smashbox. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. This is Smashbox podcast number 72's after show, where things get... I think we need a tagline for it. where things get crazy, or some kind of tagline, and
some
anything
sort of
goes.
Tagline, anything goes. All bets are off, or
Yeah,
guards are down.
I think we need, rather than a tried and true cliche, I think we need to come up with our own. But anyway, so here we are. This is the after show. We're glad you could join us during the regular podcast. Of course, we had Dana Vicich as well as Madison Walker who joined us. And now we can talk about all sorts of other random things. After show topics typically include a little bit of disc golf and then a lot of other rambling on about other things that may or may not be related to disc golf. So glad you could join us. We're going to try and check in on the board. I kept a loose eye, so to speak, as to what we saw out on the board. And
Dan Stevens says where the after show, where the term dick bag is used quite regularly.
It certainly can be if it needs to be uttered out. I saw my pal Dion out there said that he would pay me to stop using the term in fact. So apparently I was using the term in fact, and in fact I don't really believe. No, I'm just kidding. But apparently I used it a lot. So thanks for the call out. I obviously don't want to be repeating any phrases too often.
We all do. I think
we all have them.
I think I say sure a lot. I know that, and yeah, I catch you saying things when we. With that being said, is one of your favorites.
That's an easy one.
One of your favorites.
All those silly little fillers that sometimes people use. A really common one. I was even watching professionals this last weekend, and one of the things that they said continuously was absolutely. It's just one of those reassuring words that lets you know you're paying attention to somebody. And it's just, unfortunately, it's just such an easy one to spit out. And I'm certainly guilty of it, but it's really easy to say. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, so it looks like we are working on, we're going to have a special guest tonight. Is that what you said?
Yeah, Zoe's going to actually join us for the after show.
What?
Yeah.
That's awesome. We're going to have Zoe Andyke join us and see what she has going on. Is she ready right now?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
She said she'll be ready in about 5 minutes.
Oh, those women. She's got to do her hair.
I don't think so.
No, okay.
It's not Zoe's style.
No.
She's naturally beautiful.
Yes. So that's awesome. We're going to have Zoe join us on the line. And Christopher, I believe you had sent me a message or let us know that your giveaways didn't show up, and I am going to take care of that probably tomorrow. So thanks. We appreciate your patience. I think everybody else is. I didn't see Michael Gibney out on the board tonight.
There were no prizes to give away today, so he wasn't here.
So he didn't bother chiming in. So we're good there. Ricky Singleton says, look at the feed is blowing up. Ricky, we talked about you a little bit earlier. Of course, Ricky being a supporter and Daredevil Dis told him to reach out to Ricky Singleton on Facebook or to reach out to Team Waka, and you can find out more information about Daredevil Dis.
Did anyone ever find the whale sack?
Good question. Yes. So as some of you remember from last week, I was working with Tina from Whale Sacks, and I hid a whale in vlog, I want to say now it was vlog 359, and as far as I know of, up until this point, no one found my original whale sack that I hid in vlog 359. However, in vlog 361, where I did it again, it was found nearly instantly, as in like the first time somebody could have possibly watched it and then found it. They're like, why is there like a whale floating around? And then they didn't go back and they didn't read in the description, which is understandable that you wouldn't necessarily have read the description ahead of time. But yeah, so that we have taken care of. And Tina's going to work with me to have more whale sacks hidden in other video blogs moving forward. So I think it's a pretty cool, fun little thing that we're doing. So
you're playing a game called Hide the Sack. I like it.
Yep. Hashtag find my whale sack. Terry hasn't sent out a giveaway. I keep sending out giveaways left and right. It's just a matter of staying on top of all the individual ones. That's why we're working with DD, and they're just sending them directly. So now we just have to pass on the information. Same with Daredevil. We just have to pass on the information over to everyone else. So, all right, and in just a second here, we're going to welcome the ever so traveling and always busy, but still amazing here, Zoe Andyke.
And she got the blue memo, which is nice that we sent out.
We like that. Sporting all blue.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
That's what we do.
That's how we roll, for no apparent reason.
That's what teammates do, even when we don't talk.
That's right.
We
It's
got it.
all
We got
there.
it.
All right, Zoe, what do you got for us? First of all, we always have to start.
Where and what have you been doing?
Yeah, where are you? And what do you got for us?
I am in my hometown again. That's LeGrand, Oregon,
Okay.
northeastern part of the state. I was just up at my parents'. Had some really good dinner with them. Played some cards. Family cards is kind of our thing. And my dad goes to bed pretty early, so getting a game in was pretty cool. We play Pinochle.
It's a good
won.
classic game.
You won. You had to play. Yep. Good.
It's important. We're pretty competitive, my dad and I. My mom, she's great too, but it's so much fun. I've been doing this like since I can remember, how to count cards and how to play. It's just fun. So yeah, I came from their house. It was 28 degrees. Had like 1.5 feet of snow up there.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. Now I'm down at my best friend Emily's house, where I have done Smashbox from before.
Yeah, we recognize that background.
Yep.
Yay! So, yeah, it's just been really good. I miss you guys. I'm glad to be back on here. I didn't get to see any of the show earlier. I was not at a place where I had internet actually until I got here. So I hope Madison and Dana and everybody were amazing, like I can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
They were.
Of course. Of course they were.
Now you and Madison are going to be spending some time together in the near future. Is that right?
Yes. Oh, thank goodness. Yeah, actually, there's quite the crew and quite the team. I'm so pumped about this whole year. Jacqueline Hallstad and I leave Bend, Oregon, to be specific, February 20th. Mm-hmm. And it's girls' car. Unless Joe Height jumps in, we're not sure what he's doing, but he's gonna be there, so that's cool. At the memorial, when I say there. Yep. Obviously. So yeah, Jackie and I are gonna smash down, and Dustin is running some putting leagues for Team Oregon, which is him and I in Oregon. So he's flying down a couple days before the event. So yeah, Jacko and Zotron road dogging.
Nice.
Pretty much for the first whole leg of the tour, because we'll be going to the St. Patty's Day Classic and doing a few things from Phoenix to, is that Orangevale, California?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We're gonna stop in Santa Cruz and see Shasta and play Pinto and see Sarah and do all kinds of cool stuff on the way home. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Wow.
Preparing for that. That's what I've been doing.
Wasn't it just last year that you picked up a new whip? Not DNR, but you picked up a new whip and got yourself a nice, stable, comfortable vehicle to tour around in?
Stable being the most important part there. It's a really solid mold. It's a Toyota RAV4. Yeah. And it won't break down on me, so that's great. Yeah, we call it the Zome. It's the Zoe home.
Okay.
So Zomi will be taking us around. What's your vehicle's name?
I don't have one. It's just like a handful of other golfers. I have an Element, but I don't really have a name for it. I might be in it a little bit more this year, so I'll have to think about one. Lately, it's just been a little bit of a money. It's been just a money
pit.
Yeah, I've had a few issues surprisingly with it after having such good luck for so many years. But no, I'll have to come up with a good name for it. Right. The best I can do is I have personalized plates that say DG Guy on them, but that's about it.
DG Guy Mobile.
Yeah. Very original. I like it.
What about you, Johnny?
I roll in a Honda Fit, which people joke about how I even fit. It's like a clown car. It's tiny. It's the smallest thing in the world, but it's got plenty of front seat, and I got 2 little kids in the back seat, so it works out great. But it doesn't have a name. It has no name. I've never named a vehicle. I've never had.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've never had a.
We're not as creative as you, Zoe.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was standard operating procedures of life. Yeah, my friend and I were just talking about that. So at least we can help you guys with developing this new curriculum of your life.
Well, you will for sure see my Honda Element at some point during the Pro Tour this year. especially here in the Midwest. You will see it, and if we don't have a name already, you're gonna have to come up with something.
Oh yeah, the Pro Tour and vehicles. That's gonna be really exciting. I might leave the Zomi here at my homie in Oregon for the Pro Tour.
Okay.
And how will you get around for the Pro Tour? A bus?
I'm hoping, and I don't think it's too preemptive to say that I'm trying to do as much as I can to help Steve Dodge with carting around a cargo trailer and possibly a van. If I have my choice, it'll be like an original Hummer or something. I'm just kidding. That'd be terrible for gas mileage. Stop. But hopefully I can. I've let him know that Dustin and I and Paul Oman, I believe, are willing to, since we're doing every one of those stops and we're signed up for every one of the events, we would love to help him out because he's doing so much for, this tour is really, really amazing, and we've got to just help him make it the best we can be, and we're playing it. So
awesome.
It seems to work out. And I like the idea of cutting a few thousand miles off of my car. And turns out I've had a CDL in Alaska and driven for like 7 or 8 years. So I'm really going to drive the vehicle.
Sorry, that last part cut out.
Yeah, you kind of stuttered up there for a little bit with Skype. So you're saying you have a CDL?
How do you? And by the way, let me say,
like,
how
it
do
just
you
turns
apparently have a CDL? How does that just happenstance?
I have a CDL in Alaska, so I don't have one here in Oregon. That's a state by state thing.
Okay.
We're gonna turn off our video to Zoe and see if that helps out, because she's
seems to be a slight
she looks like she's having some internet problems on her side. And we lost Zoe.
And we lost her. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
I'm glad you were as confused momentarily as I was there as to. All right, Zoe, do we got you there?
We got you back. I killed the video to us, just in case it helps save a little bit of bandwidth. So.
Okay, I'm shutting off the data on my phone. Does that help? I don't know.
Are you on your phone? No, probably not.
I don't even know. No, I'm on her Wi-Fi, right? That wouldn't even matter.
So. No, as long as no one else on the Wi-Fi is doing anything crazy like Netflix or watching or anything like that, you should be all right.
We're good. We're good.
We're good.
So
where'd we lose track of my CDL?
Yeah, your CDL.
Your CDL.
A lot of people lost track there.
Yeah. That's up in Alaska.
Okay.
I don't have one in Oregon. It's a state by state thing, but
yep.
I certainly could. Up there, I managed Boys and Girls Club and drove around a short bus and did some other tour and adventure jobs where you had to have your CDL. So that's where that came from.
You then catch her on episode 3 of Ice Truckers in Alaska.
Ice Road Truckers.
Miles from Paragon loved when I told him that. He's like, "What's with women in disc golf and like truck driving and CDLs?" I was like, "I don't know. You tell me." Apparently, there's a few other gals out there doing that too.
Okay, Johnny, we're gonna play a little quick game, and hopefully you can help here, Zoe.
Oh.
If by giving us a yay or nay, and I'm not sure if you can, but who would you say? Who's the next person, the next female disc golfer we know that you would guess to have a CDL?
Am I going to dig myself a hole?
No, I don't know. Because with her hint, I just thought of someone who I think might have one. So I'm going to ask you first. A female disc golfer?
Well,
I think I know two now that I think about it. But
well, you figure if it's someone from Miles, it's probably someone from Illinois.
Okay.
So my guess would be maybe Barrett White.
Okay. I wasn't thinking her. And Zoe, you can't confirm or deny Barrett, right?
No, I cannot. I'm going to just say Barrett. But no, can't confirm.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't think she does, but
here's my first guess, and I would hope you would know this. I was thinking Miles sponsors players, one of the sponsored players who you're good friends with.
Like Holcomb?
Sarah Holcomb, that was my guess. Yeah, Idaho. Oh. Any idea? Any idea?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, so you don't know though. Okay.
No.
I don't think she does, but do you guys know about her and Don's touring vehicle for this year?
No.
That's kind of cool.
No, break their news for us.
Fill us in.
Oh yeah, I just love breaking news. So, you guys know Nate and Valerie Doss and their big bruiser, the
Yep.
big huge Sprinter van. Okay,
Yep.
so Sarah and Don have a bruiser, but it's white.
Wow.
So it's not a bruiser. It's got to be called something else. Maybe like Marshmallow Man or something. I don't know. They'll come up with a good name though. But they're rocking a bed and a full on like disc Cali Connection shop, refrigerator. Sarah's so creative with like ways to cook on the road, and
awesome.
she keeps it nice and clean. Yeah, that's been her winter project.
Don Smith is driving a windowless van. Something about this doesn't sit well with me.
My joke was going to be, should he be driving a white van? Does he look good in white? Is that allowed?
Well, not after Memorial Day.
Okay.
They look pretty fresh.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice.
But I'll let her talk about that next time she's on. You guys will see it. It's exciting though to think about just how we're all making new changes and getting around the country in different ways. And you know, I even look at like helping Steve out, and that's like a 90% thing. I hope that it's 100% here shortly, but I'm certainly confident enough to talk about it because him and I have, you know, sent emails back and forth. But I feel like even things like that are things that disc golfers should be thinking about. We can tie it back into, how do I make the tour happen? I don't know how to leave my life. Well, you know, there's all kinds of ways to be creative and safe about it. Maybe even this CDL thing can get popular. What if truck driving in disc golf? No, I don't know. Whatever.
Well, I was thinking, so you
know,
you have all this equipment.
Craigslist travelers.
Yeah, you have all this equipment now, and you know, you kind of you hinted out to us on Facebook in a little bit that maybe video editing isn't the most fun thing for you, but something you could do that might be pretty easy is you could have a little series, a Smashbox series, touring golfers rides, and just kind of get a quick interview and like almost like, you know, this is my crib, this is my pad. You could show how they've, you know, we'll say pimped out, to use the, you know, the exhibit term, pimped out their ride. And
yeah, we could come up with even cooler names.
Oh, sure, I'm sure we could. I mean, exhibit might have that.
The good news,
but
and let me just interject on that. The editing is definitely, you know, not totally my thing this year. I can play with that whenever, but the fact is, again, being full-time on the road this year and still having that equipment to be able to record and do those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can have our viewers, you know, especially as we get into way more regular stuff, be sending in what they want to hear about or see about or know more about, because we've got all kinds of cool places that our eyeballs are, or video cameras.
Yeah.
That just got weird. Okay.
No, there's all sorts. No, you're right.
So
No,
that's great.
There's a lot of different ways that things we could venture into. I totally follow you.
Yeah. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Disc golf girl Zoe in the Zomi, something like that.
Zoe in the Zomi.
Yeah.
What else is going on? I've been gone for quite a few shows in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the last time. It was definitely in December.
Yeah, and as we've said, we know that you've been busy. You seem to have, you know, something going on just about every Tuesday night, or you're traveling, and we love having you when you can fit it in. And it's working out. Now we're excited, and I just confirmed with Madison as we were wrapping up with her that at one of the nightly podcast shows, we're for sure going to have Madison. I'm sure we're going to have Paige at some point. We're going to I don't want to say go through, but we're going to certainly try and get as many guests as we can.
And you're talking about the nightly podcasts
at the Memorial. Taking place. Exactly.
That's
so
right. We didn't even get back to that.
Yeah, that's definitely an angle that we can go, and we feel like that's one of the most fun features of being able to do those nightly podcasts is the fact that we can bring in all these different people.
Definitely.
Good days, bad days, or whatever.
I think that's a really fun place, and that's where more viewers and more of our smashies get to bring their families and friends into wanting to watch disc golf, because we have pros and their stories, or, you know, some live coverage, or talking about the coverage for the day. Those are really personal and cool interviews to have right there on the spot, you know, in the action. I know I'm getting excited. I don't know if Madison talked about our house, or if anybody I think Paige posted pictures.
Yeah, I saw one picture from Paige posted of just the game room, I believe it was, with a giant Jenga I thought I saw maybe
foosball
or air hockey or something, or I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's Game City over there. So
yeah,
you guys could come over maybe one night. I don't know.
I don't know about the whole boy-girl thing.
Yeah.
I think Terry came over to. Didn't you come over to the Palace when we were all renting in Fountain Hills and gave me the Skyline Discs shirt?
Yeah, I was there.
I think
when
that.
I first met you.
Yeah, I think that was part of the very low-key nature that the Memorial Week is. Oh, wait, never mind.
So as we're getting prepared to go to the Memorial, what have you been doing this off season to prepare? Like, how are you getting prepped for the Memorial? Have you been doing any sort of off season training or anything like that?
Definitely. Thanks for asking. I found something really, it's a new routine, and it is more than, it's a lifestyle change for sure. I replaced any kind of, I don't know. I guess I started strength training. And I'll tell you about the gym and the trainer that I started seeing. And it's really funny. It was December 4th that I first stepped into that gym. And that was the first night I quit drinking, actually. And not that I would call myself an alcoholic or a regular drinker, but as you guys know, beer, after a round of disc or with dinner here and there, or if you are sponsored by breweries, happens easy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
or you live in Bend.
Yeah, I replaced drinking with working out with a trainer, actually in a CrossFit gym, but I don't do CrossFit. Let's talk about that. I think CrossFitters are amazing crew of people with some really hard dedication, but I don't.
Thank you.
I don't do what they do. I'm actually working with an amazing man. His name's John Wick. He's the owner of the gym here in my hometown. And when I first met him, everyone kind of just looked at me and they're like, what is disc golf? Who is this girlie that's pretty skinny and looks like rubber bands and bones, and it was kind of fun. But he is like this amazing athlete with like this insane resume of bodybuilding and training and and he's like one of the highest professionals of any level I've ever seen in this valley that I live in. He's amazing. So he just had me doing some private training sessions with only him, and the CrossFitters do these workouts like in classes, and they do these things called WODs, like workout of the days, and they're all doing, big, huge total body muscle man stuff, like Arnie, like they get really buffed up in all their body and stuff. And what I'm doing with John is a series of like 5 different workouts that I keep logged, and they're explosive movements. And then it's kind of helping me build, let's just say, the backside of my body that I don't really have, or maybe never have had. And still looking forward to having, I'm like a little baby in the gym, but learning how to be safer in the gym and working with him to try to figure out how to keep up my strength training on the road. And then back to the drinking thing. I'm not saying, any super athlete should never drink, or I'm not saying anything against or for drinking. I'm just saying my life changed this winter not drinking and putting it in my muscles and being a lot healthier. It's just really fun. So when I started trying to pay my trainer for his time, he was like, well, you're a professional athlete. I thought, you're playing disc golf. I can't have you drinking. And that's kind of where it started with like a little bit of a sponsorship. Now I've definitely since paid him after that month, but the month of December was like his gift to me. And I just kept thinking, how could I let this guy down and have a drink when he's put in so much effort into learning what disc golf is, listening to me, watching me do putting and driving movements, creating a workout for me. And then, he's like, I don't know, like Captain Drill Sergeant, or like, you just don't want to let this guy down. He's the most amazing coach in the world. And so, yeah, that was like the motivator. And then New Year's came, and Dustin and I went down to Santa Cruz, and I definitely had a few drinks with Beth and Dave. Beth Trusso is the TD of Daisy Chains, and Dave Sanu does a lot of help, and that's her husband, and we stay with them every year. So we partied and hung out and did the Monterey Bay New Year's tournament thing. And January 1st was the last time I drank, and made this whole deal where I was like, oh, okay, well, if I were to describe somebody that drank alcohol and was a professional athlete, they probably only drink for special occasions. So I decided I probably can't have a special occasion everry night.
I was just gonna ask, that was gonna be my next question.
It's always someone's birthday.
Big deal. Yeah, like what? No, that's not good. I mean, it'd be good to be a big deal, but not that big of a deal. So I decided I could drink 12 days in the year of 2016 to make sure that I just stay like on the hunger for the workout and drinking tea at night, and things like that. But they work like rollover minutes. It's really cool. I made this whole thing up.
So the last 12 days of 2016 might be a little bit hectic.
Rough.
I have it written in eyeliner on my rearview mirror. My volleyball jersey was number 6, so I have it written as 6, Zoe 6, and then I just have to smudge and erase. I'll put a 5, and a 4.
There you go.
And so I drank last Friday night. There was an occasion. There was a special occasion. I'll tell you about it.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. But anyways, that's my little thing, and it's fun, and it's a program, and it's I think New Year's resolutions are cool or just whatever it is, but I kind of quit drinking in December and then thought of a fun thing to be dedicated to for New Year's, and that's where I'm at. So awesome. Maybe that'll be fun to show a little viewing of the camera of the rearview mirror and tell everyone my special occasion. Well, maybe not all my special occasions, but I'm going to be saving a few months up for my birthday. That's at the end of November. There's going to be some months that I don't drink at all, I hope. So, perfect. I'd say my off season definitely consisted of learning a little bit more about my body and my muscles and a little more clear of a head, sober head.
Now you said that you had kind of you said you kind of showed him maybe some of your driving and putting and some maybe the explosive movements. Now, did he do something specific or show you any specific workouts for I'll say a general disc golfer that maybe they can benefit from that? Or is this more of a, because when we asked Paul the same question, because he's got a custom routine that he's picking up from Hannah, is this something similar for you, or is this something that you can share with everybody?
I can share this with everybody. And something that we're kind of working on too and developing. We've changed from week 1, to where we're at today pretty drastically. And then when I left, every time I leave and I'm on the road trying to keep up on my workouts because I don't have his specific gym, I kind of lose and gain in other places. It's really interesting being on the road. So I feel like we'll talk a whole lot more about those things, but I do want to say if anyone has access to a rowing machine, you should all get on there as much as possible. If everybody knows what a rower or a rowing machine is, that's going to be really good for every disc golfer if you have access or a gym that has one. And then he's using strength training movements or CrossFit movements, whatever you want to call it, strength training, like kettlebell squats to build up the backside. I do a lot of lunges, a lot of box jumps. Those are more explosive movements.
Smash box jumps?
For my... What's that?
Smash box
jumps for sure. And my trainer actually, he knows about the smash box too. I was gonna ask, since this is my last week in the gym, if I could just bring my camera in and film a little bit. And I know I kind of ask him, I don't really talk a lot about my life. I tell him bits and pieces of new sponsorships for this year. I'm so excited to share maybe with everybody next week, but I'll talk a little bit, but I just keep quieter in the gym, and I really want to film just a few of these movements and what they do, and then maybe what I do, because it's hilarious. I love my progress and where I'm at, but I could show you guys if they let me film a couple of their things and then what I do, and
sure.
how elated I am to be where I'm at, and you guys are gonna be like, whoa, I thought Tron was in good shape. That was really kind of cool. Maybe I'll impress the heck out of you all.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So my off-season training didn't have a lot of disc golf in it. I'm really excited to hopefully get back over to Corvallis on Saturday and play in a little non-sanctioned tournament that I played in for probably 4 or 5 years called Festivus. That'll be my stepping back onto the course. I've been putting. That's good. You can't stop putting.
Nope.
Been twirling discs in my hand, especially when it's like negative temperatures or snowy. Twirl discs.
Yeah, you talked about that last time you were here,
yoga.
saying you should always have a disc in your hand and feeling the the rim and the spin and all that other stuff. Yep, that makes perfect sense.
Get used to it. And stretch. I'm not the best at stretching. I wish I was better. I challenge all of you guys, and I challenge you guys all to be checking out what Val Jenkins is constantly posting.
Yeah.
Her 30-day yoga challenge, yoga with Adrian. I have all those on my email. I'm doing some other types of yoga, but I just want to be better at stretching every day. Get on the program. That's going to be really good for anybody's disc golf. That's on my goal sheet. Seem to be like infatuated with the strength training and like needing to balance it a little bit more with like the stretching and the meditation. Maybe
We don't want you just getting too bulky. You gotta,
Yeah.
No, I don't ever want to look like I said. I think CrossFitters are awesome, but I'm not trying to look like them. I'm just trying to be safer in my body.
Yeah.
I'm way better at disc golf.
Well, I think there's a market to be cornered with, there was the big, I'll say, fad for a long that time was the P90X, and now
Insanity.
Yeah, insanity, and right now obviously CrossFit is the really big thing, but I think there is a market to be cornered for disc golfers if you can come up with maybe a 1 or 2 or 3 month routine and just kind of say, all right, for you beginning disc golfers that are looking to do either weight training or flexibility, 2 days of this and 3 days of that, and just work on specific drills with people as far as here's how I do kettlebells.
Yeah, well, yeah,
and here
I'm glad you picked that too. That's like the hardest one to master.
Yeah, because those look dangerous, honestly. Like you break something
hurt
using
your
those.
back or yourself really bad.
Yeah, you hear about a lot of CrossFitters that end up injured. A buddy of mine did it, and he was out. He was doing it for about 3 or 4 months, and then he messed up his shoulder, trying to hike a bunch of weight, and then he was out for 4 or 5 months from lifting that particular type of that lift. So it's, but kind of a P90, I'll say a P90X for disc golfers.
Well, and I'll call out one person in particular that completely originally missed the boat on that, and that would have been Avery Jenkins.
Yep.
As a guy who's got the fitness background and enjoys working out and knows what he's doing and has the degree in all of this stuff. Avery Jenkins should have put this package together. So Zoe or whoever else, if Avery's not going to do it, Avery's got announcing to do from behind the booth. Let me tell you, I was thin before I started announcing.
Avery, like so much more now. I think about like how much. I remember a post like sometime last year when he had lifted like 1 million pounds or 1 billion pounds in his life. And I was like, well, that's a lot, and never really thought about it. I don't remember what the post exactly said, but it was kind of amazing. Avery has been weightlifting and strength training forever. Like
he's in great shape, and he's got some killer calves if you look at him,
and he's got the background,
and he's got the background from going to the University of Oregon and all that other stuff that he could put together some sort of training system for golfers specifically. So
well, and I believe he tries to post a little bit about it, but I think we all have. This goes back to disc golf again, and I'm not going to get too into coaching and training mode. I got to save some stuff for the whole Smashbox season.
Yeah.
There are 3 body styles specific, and I'm not going to name the actual medical term, but we'll just say there's like little barrels, there's people that are little barrels that can build all this like core muscle and, maybe don't have the longest limbs. And then there's people like me that are just like ribbons of length. My bones are so long and lengthy, and so are my muscles, And then there's the people that are like kind of in between, and they have like some of the best of both worlds. So when you have somebody like Avery teaching some strength training, he's like an ogre of barrel strength, like he's got some insane muscles and probably testosterone and all these other things going on behind that, but he could create a strength training for a lot of, I'd say, a higher percentage of disc golfers. Whereas I can also create a strength training that matches in say, endurance, in stretching and some other things. But there are certainly moves that Avery could create that would not apply to my body at all.
Oh, of course.
Sure.
And those are the things when you hear these crazy CrossFit stories where people are getting hurt in the gym. Man, it's not the gym's fault and it's not CrossFit's fault. It's actually the fault, maybe not of the person directly, but indirectly. They were little babies in the gym that didn't have the form, tweak, accidental like thing that wasn't right for their body. Certainly not right for their body, So we can all think about those things too. And you all can certainly expect to hear what I'm going to take from my gym and my winter on the road and kind of what I'm doing. I'm so thankful again to have my trainer, John, because we're going to be hooked up throughout this year of communication. So when I'm lost or I'm being a slug or a slob or like taking 5 days off in a row from like athletic activity, I don't think that'll ever happen. But if it did, he's got my back on the road and he can certainly he's so professional at what he does. I can describe like where I'm at in my muscles or in my endurance and what I can't even do stretching. And he can start me off at the right place where I couldn't really do that on my own. Mm-hmm. But man, am I trying to study hard on it. This is a lifelong study too. So yeah, lots of soak in there. Just get some strength training in and be safe about it. I don't know why I talk like that sometimes.
It's all right.
It's getting really late for me. I don't know what time it is over there.
It's 11. It's 11 o'clock here.
It's 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock where you are.
I remember the old Zoe that Well, that's awesome to hear. And obviously, anytime anyone's looking to improve themselves and their body or their fitness or mental or physical health in any capacity, it's always awesome to see. And I think it also it puts that spark, maybe under the next guy, and that energizes other people to get excited about it or pushes that button or that kick in the pants, whatever it might be. So it's awesome to hear. Maybe I'll run home tonight.
No, you won't. I'd love to see it though. How many times did you fall down?
It is pretty icy.
It's very icy.
Yeah, so tonight I won't do it. Maybe next week.
What's the weather there you guys got?
Yeah, we were talking earlier that it mostly rained all day, although we were expecting some snow, but unless it's happened in the last few hours, it rained all day, and just north of us by a couple hours and just south of us by a couple hours, getting anywhere from 2 to 4 to 8 to 10 inches of snow. So we're in a little pocket of some safety, but I'm worried my mainly freeway ride home is going to be an icy one, so we'll see.
A little slower, yeah.
Yeah, definitely moving a little bit slower for sure. So, all right.
Well, I'm so glad I got to check in with you guys. And next week, I kind of hinted that earlier, I'll be back on. I don't know if I'll be in Portland or Corvallis or Eugene, but from one of those towns, I'll check in. I would really like to talk about this, my sponsors for this year, and then we can kick off kind of some Smashbox program stuff. I mean, we're getting real close to the countdown here. We are on the countdown, but we're getting close.
It's getting we like we told Dana, we've got the Memorial less than a month away.
I'm so excited to see you.
It's gonna be awesome. All right, Zoe, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for the updates, and we wish you the best of luck. Keep doing what you're doing because it sounds awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night, Zoe.
See ya. All right, well, there you have it. A little after show special with Zoe Andyke joining us here. Pretty sweet stuff to see. She's got some supporters. She has plenty of supporters out on the board giving us her updates. So it's great to see and hear. All right. I think we see her pal Dustin Keegan is probably out on the board. Team, he wants to see some more NTs and major winners out of Oregon. There's a big argument, I believe.
Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon. Yep. There's a big conversation going on currently on the chat board, so I'm not going to bother getting into that because there's no way to win that one.
No, because I think I said Oregon, like Oregon
And others have said Oregon.
Yep, Oregon.
Or Oregon. Yeah. Whatever. Anyway, Yeah, so they continue to that will continue to rage on. Good stuff. I don't have I'll admit I don't have too much more. I think we've had a lot of really good stuff here tonight, but I don't have too much more in terms of news or things to chat about. It's going to be pretty exciting, as we said, with all the new tour news and updates that took place. And really, I know we don't talk about the national tour a lot, but that's kind of set. It was set really last year.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot of great events, and obviously a few of them overlap, being, for instance, the Maple Hill Open, sponsored by Vibram. That's on the national tour, and it's on the pro tour. But, yeah, sounds good. Ricky Singleton of Daredevil Disc has chimed in and said he's got some pretty big and exciting news, and unfortunately I got to leave it at a teaser because he says he can't really talk about it or announce it yet, but he does have some exciting things going on, so that's pretty awesome to hear and read. I admit I kind of dislike it when I have secrets that I can't share.
Yeah.
Occasionally I'm blessed with those, but I hate holding them in and not sharing them with you guys. Contrary to Dana Vicich's belief that I enjoy doing that. I really don't.
I wanted to break into I hear the secrets that you keep.
You could.
I don't think I will.
When you're talking in your sleep.
Thanks. So, yeah, someone asked Terry, will you be at the Brent Hambrick Memorial in Columbus, Ohio? And will you be playing?
Okay.
I'll go ahead and limb and say, I don't think you'll be playing.
I guarantee you I will not be playing, which is kind of sad because in all of the years seeing that event off and on as primarily as a national tour, it was kind of always on my list, kind of like playing out in Portland and seeing the Beaver State fling courses, and then I got the chance to play them at the Portland Worlds. But I will not be competing in the Brent Hambrick Memorial. Could it be covered in some capacity? I would still love to see if that's a possibility. I don't know about live. I don't know about recorded.
Yep.
But in some capacity, I would like to have some type of coverage for it. That does not include Terry Miller playing coverage, though.
No, and
we're all good for that.
Yep, you and I have said that a dozen times. That's we've pretty much played every major event that's out there. I haven't played Beaver State. Mm-hmm. I haven't even been out there. But we've covered or played in almost all of them. That's kind of the big hole in my resume, especially being so near. I mean, I've never been over to Europe, but we went to the Japan Open, and almost all those big majors we've been to in some capacity. And that one, it's just never been able to do it.
Yeah. Well, for a few years, it conflicted with the Silver Cup, actually, what is previously known, or which was now known as the Silver Cup, that event. And it hasn't worked out. So anyway, I will not be playing in it. Whether or not it's covered, that's another story. So I know I have reached out and talked with the guys over at the Mishawaka Open, and I would be very interested. We've had conversations about trying to get over there and cover that. That's the first weekend in April. I know Will Schustrick has recently signed up. I'm guessing they're going to have a solid field. I know they're looking to try and get more women into the field, as most events are. Mm-hmm. But if there's something that can work out, I'd love to definitely go check that event out. That's an area, South Bend area, I know has a lot of disc golf history, including hosting the Worlds in the 90s.
Yep.
However, I have not been there, so I would love to go check things out over there if that can happen.
I'd love to talk to Will about his workout routine. He posted something. Him and Murder Mike went back and forth a little bit today. Murder Mike made a post and showed this really, really skinny guy lifting a bunch of weights. Uh-huh. And Will kind of went off and said that he doesn't like working out, but he's forcing himself to get in the gym and do more running and things like that, but no real weights.
Sure.
So it's one of those things. I'd be curious to see how someone who really hates going to the gym gets through the off season to keep themselves in shape. And he said he's been lucky; he's never had to because he's been pretty active. But as we all know, it doesn't matter how active you are. The older you get, things slow down. Mm-hmm. And a disc golfer is out walking about a lot, but that might not be enough for some people.
And Will clearly blessed with the genetic makeup to give him, the physique and just the overall body type that he has. But
great, so was I.
Yeah, we know you don't throw like Will.
For many years, I was blessed with like the high metabolism, and it didn't matter what I ate. I could just, I was always pretty skinny, and I had a little bit of definition, and not anymore. That goes away when you sit around behind an office desk for, 3, 4, 5, 6 years and are golfing less and family, and that catches up with you. And with Will getting married,
yeah,
that's.
I mean, he's just gonna be a slouch on the couch.
He's gonna fall apart.
No.
It'd be an interesting conversation with Will.
Kevin McCoy says that if I couldn't bench press the bar, I wouldn't like lifting weights either. So, Kevin, Kevin's just getting old. I mean, we're gonna call him on that. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I hope Courtney is feeling well. It was almost a year ago she had the.
I've seen Kevin recently. He looks like he's bellied up to the bar a little bit.
Ouch! Uh-oh. Shots fired or shots drank maybe.
Shots drank, yeah.
Kevin, Johnny V said it, not me, just for the record.
DG Weekly said that they recorded their 4th podcast tonight,
Awesome.
our Reddit with Uli. So I'll look forward to catching some of that at some point when that gets released.
Okay. DG Weekly, we haven't heard a lot about that, so you'll have to fill us in more and give us more details, because I'll be honest, and I'm not being a dickbag.
No more than normal.
No more than normal. I just haven't heard a ton about it, and I can't say I go out and research a lot of things these days either.
Here's their problem. DG Weekly, get on this.
Uh-oh.
They need to get it out on all the different podcasting things if they haven't. I've been listening to it through finding a link through Reddit on SoundCloud or something. But I'd love to see an actual podcast where I can just subscribe to it and it just shows up when you do it. I don't want to have to search for it. Make it easy for me, DG Weekly. Make it easy for me.
I don't got that kind of time. Something like that.
Yeah.
We should probably talk Iowa caucuses.
Feel the burn. Feel the burn.
I'm just kidding. I don't want to talk any politics.
I don't know much about politics. All I know is that Bernie almost won and Trump didn't. And Cruz won. So other than that, I haven't really been paying too much attention.
DG Weekly says that he's calling you out, but won't let you get on and talk. So he wants to be able to call into our show. We could let him. We give him a really hard time in person. He's trying to call into the show is what he's trying to do.
I think I closed.
If you can get on Skype.
Yeah, DG Weekly, you're welcome to call in. The Skype is just Smashbox TV.
Clever, we know.
That's fine. You can, if you want to talk, you can talk. Promote.
We're gonna mute you.
Yeah,
we're gonna have you
and then mock him. Mute him and mock him. That's our motto.
So that's what you're gonna step into. So just be prepared for that.
Kevin saying, "What's up with Wisconsin banning smack talk at school sports?" They weren't actually banning anything. At least that's what they say. They kind of took a couple steps back. There's always been this sportsmanship rule that's been out there. You know, you're not supposed to cheer against the other team. Whatever. It's really dumb. But it got some major national attention, and they really stepped back off of that, saying, "Oh, no, that's not what we meant. You know, you can yell air ball. You can do whatever." So,
well, if they're going to ban that, I think there needs to be another consideration when we go back to that participation trophy conversation, because those two aren't far off from one from another. So, and in just a moment here, looks like we got a new guest on the line.
You got me?
We got you. You're on. You are on the Smashbox podcast.
What's up, Smashies?
Congratulations.
How are you doing tonight, buddy?
Made it.
You finally made it in life.
Yeah, you're here. What's it like to have an audience?
Interesting. Sometime, Terry.
What's that?
I said you should try it sometime.
Yeah.
All right. We're just kidding. What's going on, buddy?
Not a whole lot. I heard you guys were recording, and someone told us to call in. So we just finished our episode. So
okay.
Here I am.
So you let's fill the viewers in a little bit.
For sure.
You guys do, what's ostensibly called the /R podcast for the Reddit crew.
If you want to shorten it, sure.
Sure.
Okay. What's the official name?
What's the long name?
/R/Disc Golf.
Okay.
One word podcast. Yes.
All right.
Okay.
And that's you and whom else?
It's me, myself. Eric is a mod over at Reddit Disc Golf, and then two of the Central Coast Disc Golf guys, Ian Anderson and then Alex Olgeen.
Okay.
Ian's kind of the main guy. Alex is their Portland guy.
Okay. And where are you located out of?
I am in the Chicago area. I'm about a little over an hour south of you guys.
Okay.
Chicago suburbs.
Now, one of the criticisms or points that we get constantly is the length of our show. Talk a little bit about the format that you guys have.
It is mostly questions from people. We try and, we've always had a guest on. It's always been a touring pro so far. But we always take questions from people on specifically Reddit beforehand. And then we'll answer those questions, whether they be questions for us or for our guest. And then we'll kind of try and cover some of the big events, but that's kind of the Smashbox thing, is the groundbreaking news.
Wow.
That's how we roll. That's how we roll. We like to break news.
Mm-hmm.
So you said you had Yuli on tonight. Who have your other 3 guests been prior to that?
Last episode 3 was Will Schustrick. Episode 2 was Nate Sexton.
Okay, yep.
And then episode 1, I don't know who you guys had for your episode, for your very first. But we
Steve
had
Dodge.
Oh, okay. How many world championships did he win?
You'd be surprised. In Ultimate, he actually has 6.
But it wasn't 4 in a row like our guest, Paul McBeth.
We purposely sandbagged Paul.
Yeah, I mean, we could have him anytime we want.
To be totally dead honest, we intentionally did just that. We sandbagged not having Paul on right away, and we knew that we could get him at another time. And that we didn't want to, I don't know, it was a conscious decision that we didn't want to open with him. Yeah. Obviously, we have him on a lot and we talk to him, but I don't know. We were really happy at the time going with, and I don't even second guess it, going with Steve Dodge as this amazing promoter and guy that he is. And then some even second guessed. We then moved over, and our second guest ever, do you remember?
Kat?
Yeah, we moved over to the women's world champion. Again, consciously taking a woman over Paul, and that's because we knew we wanted to spread the love around. So there was reasoning to that.
Yeah, some people call us fanboys of Paul, so we.
Oh, I'm totally a Paul McBeth fan.
Yeah, okay, good. Us too.
I'll admit it right here.
Good.
Yeah, it's hard not to be. I mean, the guy's dedicated.
I think I saw your video saying why you can't beat Paul McBeth. It was in a 6-minute video of you telling us
why Paul McBeth is better than you.
Yeah. Yes. I think I saw that, so I know where you stand on it.
People got mad about that. Some people didn't like that one.
Well,
that's the way she goes, I guess.
Not for us. I mean, everybody loves. No, they don't.
No, okay.
No, they don't. They definitely don't. So, any other specific plans or things that you can share? We don't want to steal any ideas here, but any specific plans or unique things in the works for you guys?
Mainly, I just wanted to come on here and talk some smack to you guys about Glass Blown Open.
Oh, okay. What do you got?
Yeah, there's
I don't know if you guys are aware, or the Smashies, I guess, but we've got that media battle going on.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to be you two against Ian and myself for Central Coast Disc Golf.
All right, that's a win for us.
Yeah. Okay. Against Disc Golf Answer Man, who is cheating and taking their world champion Eric McCabe.
No,
well, he is part of the show.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can
he
really.
He is, but
now let's leave him out. Let's have Paige Bjerkes come in.
That's what I'm saying. Can we get Paige on there?
Now here's my thought, and I've put a little bit of thought into this. I think we should play a full round, do 6 best, 6 alternate, 6 worst.
Yeah, that would make sense.
That shows the strengths of the teams, because as we know, if it was all best shot, Eric and Bobby may have an advantage.
Have you heard?
I haven't.
Ian, my supposed teammate who's trying to help me, decided to give Brad, the disc guy, he decided to let him have Will Schustrick as his partner.
I don't know that.
Thank you.
But Will's not a media guy.
Thank you. That's
so
exactly
that's
what
that's kind of
Bobby
part of this whole part of this whole thing. This was all started originally when it was talked about last year when it was the Answer Man against us, and I like that it's sprawling out, but not that Will's.
There's got to be a line.
Yeah, well, just to bring in random people that are really good.
Yeah,
I think unfortunately at that point you're kind of defeating the point.
It's media battle.
Yeah, it's a media battle. Otherwise, I'm going to substitute Johnny for our number 1 guest in Paul McBeth.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we'll have to. There'll have to be some definitive answers
that
there.
need to be worked out. But
exactly. Well,
I'm guaranteeing that we're not coming in last.
Oh wow. Okay.
All right.
So what I would love to know, and this is what everybody else keeps asking, is who's going to ultimately film it and have to be stuck with the editing? Are we all?
Well, I know Ian volunteered.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend coming with me because I'm obviously helping Ian. My friend is going to be helping Brad film. He's going to be his second cam. So we've got the film covered. I don't know where it's going to be posted, but it's definitely going to be filmed with at least 2 cameras for sure.
Yeah, so that's that's a question
they'll
that
need 2 cameras for my run-ups.
That's definitely been a question that's been asked out there, is with all of us working or playing, who's going to be doing the work. But we'll find a way to make it happen.
Yeah, and we'll have to find some sort of, maybe not necessarily a wager, but something. We'll have to put something on the line.
Certainly.
Definitely.
So we could put up some world titles. EMAC's got something to lose there. That could be one way to do it. Awesome. Well, very cool. What is your schedule for your podcast?
You guys are so much better about that than us. We
I didn't say that. You said that.
No, I'll admit our schedule is whenever we find out we can get a guest on, then it's kind of like, all right, when are they free? Everyone else make that time free.
Okay.
We try and do it about once a month, but we've gone longer than a month without doing one before.
Sure.
Well, every once in a while.
As I learned on the previous podcast I used to do, it's always a challenge lining up the guests and getting people that have the time, and then there's time zones, and this is a little bit different because we're live, and that's it presented its own challenges and everything else, but it all works out one way or another.
Yeah,
awesome.
You guys are lucky. You guys are right next to each other. We've got from Boston to Portland, so we've got all across the country covered. So.
Have you ever been next to Terry? You really think that's that lucky?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm not sure luck is the word, but
I've been in the state next to him, and I think that's close enough.
Yeah, a lot of people think that.
You stay in Wisconsin, I'll cover Illinois. Terry.
That's totally fine. Dana knows I don't need to come down there.
So where can people find your podcast?
Right now it's just on my YouTube channel, just DG Weekly, but we are going to be starting a YouTube channel specifically for the podcast.
Okay.
And then obviously, iTunes, all that sort of stuff is in the works.
Okay. Because I thought, wasn't one of the first episodes up on SoundCloud? Because
but they have limitations, and for us, for how long the show is, you can only have 2 at a time.
That's why.
So right now we only have episode 2 and 3 up there.
Okay.
On YouTube we have all 3. 4 should be out before the weekend.
Excellent.
All right, Disc Golf Nerd says he's dying a disc, but he doesn't think he's heard anyone give him a shout out for the media battle. I'm guessing he's talking about in terms of the idea, the original idea.
It was one of his original ideas when we first started kind of getting into a little knocking heads with Disc Golf Answer Man, that he had thrown. I think it was him originally that threw that idea out.
Correct. So thank you, Disc Golf Nerd. We appreciate it.
We do.
By the way, I've played with him. Very cool guy. I think his name's Justin.
Okay.
I played with him. He's a Portland guy.
He's doxing people. He's just outing people and their real names.
Dude, I'll give his last name. You want a social security number? I got
his credit score.
Just his PayPal. That's all I want.
Yeah, that's. Excuse me.
Send you a message.
All right. Well,
all right.
We appreciate.
I don't want to take over your guys'
No. We're good. We appreciate
good.
it. Sounds good. We're gonna cut you loose, and maybe we'll see you at a battle. Yeah. Take care. Have a good night.
Sounds great.
Sure.
See ya.
Sure.
All right. Well, there we have it. Just like in politics, extending our hand across the aisle, reaching out to our fellow media brethren out there. Glad to do it. Good time.
Yeah, we're all in the same boat. Let's put it that way. The more people that are out there getting exposed to the sport, the better our numbers will be. So I mean, really, it helps us. It helps them. The Reddit community it's a pretty decent size. But I don't necessarily know how many people know about it. So, if we can expose their podcast to more, if someone's an Uli fan and wants to go out and listen, that's going to be awesome.
Awesome. Well, it was, we got some other comments coming in on the board. Yes, I do feel like all of a sudden I have a hairball. I've somehow picked up one of my daughter's mild coughs or sicknesses in the last 48 hours, which is not treating me so hot. DG Weekly trying to out me on live Smashbox. Ouch. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what's going on here. I don't have too much more. I think we can. This overall would be one of our shorter efforts.
Yeah, it would be.
Pretty crazy. Unless somebody else has something on the board, we had a solid crowd out here tonight. No surprise. when everybody wants to tune in, listen to what Madison has going on and her big win this last weekend, and we're glad that she could join us. But we'll give it a few minutes here and see if anyone else has anything that they want to share with us or that they have questions in particular. We'd be glad to answer those. Seems like the board is lighting up a little bit. Because we need steroids for disc golf. I think the Simon and or Geisinger or Double G, someone's going to get to 1,000 feet without steroids. I think that will happen. How much better do you think the media organization has become in the past year at big events?
It's definitely getting better. I think you're seeing that because people are taking control of it. It used to be such a free-for-all. So I can't say we're begging, but people would just show up at events and be like, oh, I'm going to film, and no one cared. And now there's people that are like Bobby Brown, who really spearheaded GBO last year, and I think really put in the very first conglomerate media effort that we've ever seen. And since then, it's been duplicated at USDGC, and we're seeing it this year at the Pro Tour and GBO again this year, and probably the World, and as we saw, the World Tour. So people realize that the media is important.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we've had to chalk some of the pain and struggle and frustrations all up as just that, as growing pains. But overall, the collaboration has gotten so much better, and it's a lot of the communication, and it's understanding as well that as much as disc golf, we want to get it out there, we want as many people to be able to see it. There's still other considerations, and we've kind of beat this horse in over the last year, but there's other considerations that have to be taken into account, and it's not just the end user who can gain here, and that's where things have tightened up or taken a turn, or tightened up, I guess is the best way to put it. Just because someone has a camera doesn't mean they get to show up at any tournament with any event sponsors they want, or vlog sponsors or video sponsors they want, and go out and put out a video. Yeah, we feel like there's more viewers that could possibly take it in, but there's other people that have other considerations that need to be accounted for.
I long for the days of waiting a month and a half to find out who won a tournament.
Yeah.
Back when we wait for the magazine and with bated breath flip through it, look through all the ads, like, oh, this is a cool new ad by Discraft. Look at the
Lightning.
Like, oh, the Lightning disc. And then you'd go through and you'd look at all the results, and inevitably you'd go to, if you did well, you went to those results, those results first to see your name, and then you'd kind of look and see what everybody else did. There was hardly any sort of true dissemination of information other than that. So we've come a huge way in the past 15 years.
And now, obviously, everything from live streaming to just, to the tweeting that Media Marty from the PDGA had set up a few years ago. There's so many different things.
David asks if we've ever reached out to the Golf Channel, the stick and ball golf, to rebroadcast, or it just says rebroadcast some of our footage.
Our footage isn't polished enough for that.
Correct. Now, we could...
our live footage certainly is not. The
live footage is not, and editing that particular footage down is 720p, and it's not the greatest for TV, but we do locally record a lot of what we do, if we can, and that could be cut together into a package, so to speak, of a show. And no, we've never actually reached out, but man, it's something that wouldn't be the worst idea in the world, that's for sure.
We could look into it. A couple comments out on the board. Zach Owensby says, I think media should get credentialed beforehand by TD. That's exactly what we're really seeing. And the bigger the tournament, the more likely that's happening, whether it's the TD specifically or someone from the sponsorship camp or someone from the PDGA. You're seeing that happen more and more frequently now, and we're all for it, because if you're a legitimate entity, it's going to show through at some point. And if you're not, or you're up and coming, you may not get that break. You may not get, may not get to be at the event you want to be. You got to kind of earn your way into that.
You got to start at the smaller events that other people, your local ones that other people don't want to cover or aren't covering, not necessarily don't want to.
Yeah. So that would be, that's exactly what we're kind of seeing at this point. Some of the other comments coming in. There's I don't know if I'm ahead or behind some. Okay, here we go. Sorry.
Zach asks, what new gear did you buy? Perhaps the DJI stabilized handy cam. No, that's not what we bought. I didn't know DJI did a stabilized handy cam, but
I think I do recall seeing something like that.
I'd have to look for sure. It's not a drone. Terry can't crash another one, but
I could crash this.
That's true. You could. You'd have to knock someone over.
That's all right.
We did purchase some stuff that'll help with the broadcast as far as stability.
Yep.
So we're looking forward to playing with that. I was messing around with some stuff tonight. I actually got a chance to take a little hour away from the family and come down to the luxurious studio and play around. So we're looking forward, and hopefully tomorrow or the next day I should have the second piece of equipment that we need, and we'll be flying. We just have to really learn how to use it properly.
All right, I'm reading through a few of the other things. I saw also that the PHP had released a video recently, and in a rare occurrence, kind of like the Central Coast video, I sat down and was able to take a little time to watch it, so that looks pretty good. Obviously, they do really good work. No doubt about that. Good idea, David. Are you guys going to put out, I'm not sure who's referring to, but edited Final 9 from Slippery Rock? That must not be directed at us, as we were not filming that. You want a third camera? Did I do it?
No, some people are, I think.
No, I was just thinking if I filmed. I recorded the end of the did I record again the end of the men's Masters? Then I went and recorded the entire Final 9 from the women at Pro Worlds. And then I wasn't in that big of a hurry because of Paul's cakewalk. So I got part of the Final 9 at Worlds myself, but there was no rush, and there was a dozen other cameras there. Spectating. Media Marty is up next on the series. Had some interesting, he always has interesting things to say. Yep. There's no doubt about that. Media Marty is certainly helping organize. When we talk about credentialing, if that's a term, credentialing maybe, credentialing and organizing the media efforts, Media Marty from the PDGA is certainly a step in that right direction for us. Family members, that if you were talking to me.
Someone asked what events are we live streaming this year, and we have officially announced the Pro Tour.
Yep.
GBO.
And GBO. Those are, and then Memorial.
And tonight, we talked about the Memorial, and now Memorial is not 100%. It's up there though. I mean, it would surprise me if we didn't. Let's put it that way. There's plenty of talk about it, and we're working with some good key people to make sure it happens. So it would surprise me if we didn't do it.
Everybody's going to be missing the record-breaking BG AMs. I know Drew Gibson's going to be in attendance. Excuse me, but that's also the same weekend as the Nick Hyde. And in record-breaking, I guess I would ask in what capacity? In terms of sheer numbers, I've been there when it was 900 people, or I remember the year I went, it was 911 was the specific number of people that had played in it. That event is just massive, and we were there. I mean, how many live broadcast companies? I mean, we were at the Bowling Green AMs in 2014 for the finals. So we know what that's all about. We're also the only people that have done an AM Worlds live as well.
Someone asks, what's a good camera that's affordable?
I guess Matt, I don't know if that's Matt Travis out of Illinois, but what? What's your definition of affordable?
And it depends what you're looking for. If you're just looking to film, you can go to any Best Buy and pick up probably a $399 handy cam that'll do 1080p. It's a good way to start, and I think you can even maybe buy some stabilizers for that. A lot of them have usually proprietary hot shoe if you want to bump up to an external mic. After that, if you like it and you're doing good work, I mean, you can make anything look good with post-edited stuff almost. Then you can step up to something like what Terry has for his edited stuff, which is a Canon XA10, or they might not even sell it. You can get an XA20. And at that point now you're getting XLR inputs for your camera, something you can plug a real professional quality mic into. And then it's also got onboard, hard drives and backups so you don't lose data, things like that. But if you're not sure, start with something cheap. Yeah. I mean, you can even get a stabilizer for your phone. Buy one of those, like what somebody mentioned, the DJI Handycam. You can literally plug your phone into it and mess around with that, and it looks really good.
For those out there, I went from like $100 camera to a $400 camera to a $1,400 camera, and it was just a graduation process of not knowing what I was doing, but then learning what I needed and what I wanted, and that was part of it. 60 frames per second is becoming kind of a new thing that everybody likes to see. Not everybody. Some people like to see. It's nice. It's like everything else, as soon as they have that and everybody loves it, there's going to be some other either higher resolution. I mean, obviously we've seen
the ultra high def,
sure.
The deep color stuff. It will be the next stuff. The really super good colors, 4K and things like that. So
Roger, you make me laugh, pal. What's an affordable disc stamping machine? I don't know any names for you.
An iron and some foil.
Yeah, but five to 10,000, I think, is what I've heard on some of you. A lot of people buy those used. Then again, nobody owns those unless you own a disc golf company. But you're looking 5 to 10. I want to say 5 to 10 grand for a used disc stamping machine. And your bigger challenge with that, my friend, and I know you already asked me about this, but getting blank discs.
Yeah.
Unless you're making your own discs, not too many companies let blank discs out of the warehouse, and I'll say that about every company. It's few and far between. You have to have a very special relationship in order for you to get a blank disc from a manufacturer. Discraft's not going to send you blanks. Innova's not going to send you blanks. I don't know about Prodigy. I've never asked them, but DGA is not going to send you blanks. Legacy is not going to send you blanks. So I don't know what your goal is, and I don't mean to, stab a...
He's laughing.
Yeah, but I'm just letting you know. And people say that about dyeing, too, because so many people, if I could just get the blank ones, I don't have to wipe a stamp and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Disc manufacturers generally have a pretty solid standard rule that they don't ship out a lot of blank discs.
Yeah, I was going to say, unless you are someone like a Jaybird who is notorious for dyeing, and notorious in a good way, you're probably not getting blank discs.
Yeah, so just trying to help you out there.
The secret is trying to find bottom stamps.
There you go. I've looked at the Canon 600, 200. Yeah, that's just don't have the scratch right now. Yeah, $200 for that camera is as good as you could possibly.
Yeah, you're not going to get the high zoom, and the image stability might be a little light, but for $299 or $200,
that's crazy that's only $200.
Yeah.
I bought a much less camera, of course, 5 years ago, a Canon Vixia HF 300, and it was like $400. And not 60 frames per second. That's a good way. So about that Glow Championship, I don't know, Warrior 23, but yes, I'm a Glow World Champ. I don't like to bring it up every podcast, but
he does like to. He just doesn't.
I'm 2008 Glow World Champion over at Colebrook Park, one of my favorites.
And speed putting champion, world speed putting champion.
Yeah. Paul Macbeth playing Gentlemen's. I don't know. You'd have to check the reg list. I don't know if he's got that on his.
Don't think he is.
I know, like a lot of pros, there's always talk about, like Madison just said, there's not a lot of time because you play Gentlemen's Club Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then everybody ventures the 5.5 hours from Vegas down to Phoenix, and then Monday and Tuesday, and then you start on Wednesday. So there's a lot of players in the last few years that have really, really backed off from doing both of those.
Someone asked about the 2015 USDGC final round. I'm assuming they mean edited footage.
Maybe.
Not us.
Yeah.
That's a Spin TV thing, and if they haven't put it out by now, my guess is that you're not going to see it.
I may have some of that raw footage now, which I didn't have before, but I don't think we have it all, and I don't know if we could even make a good video out of it.
It would be kind of tough.
I'll have to look into that, but that's going to be you still on the disc golf scene? If you mean the website, not really. And if you mean in the disc golf scene, I'd like to think I'm still here.
I don't know if they were talking to you or not.
Oh, okay.
But someone's saying that DD has a whole page just for blanks.
Oh, well, there you go.
So DD,
what do I know?
Not much. So if you're looking for blanks,
DD, that's interesting.
DD will shoot you some blanks.
Hey-o, that's interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, it says MVP offers blanks as well. Okay, I stand corrected. I I'm pretty confident Innova's not going to give you blanks, or Discraft's not going to give you blanks, but
Probably not.
there's other options out there, certainly.
Is Billy Crump made of gold? I've been next to
His
Billy
voice
Crump.
is.
I've been next to Billy Crump. He's just as man as you or I. He's not made of gold.
He's more man than me. All right. Gateway Underground. So, yeah, I guess I knew I spoke a little too definitively. There are blanks that are out there. They're just not easy to get. Or I think I said you kind of need to know somebody or be a solid seller usually in order to get your hands on some.
And someone's saying that the retail cost on those blanks though. So it's not like you're you're not getting them at a discount.
Oh yeah, good luck with that. 4 courses. I don't know at Central Coast if you're talking regarding the Vegas. I believe Vegas is 3 courses. They're putting up 3 temporary courses at a ball golf course, and it's supposed to be phenomenal, amazing, gorgeous, all these things, but it's 3 temp courses. Now, I think the pros may only play 2 out of the 3.
Okay.
I hope they're not making them play 3 separate courses. Yeah, but maybe for numbers they are. Honestly, I don't recall. I know I'm not planning on filming there, so I'm not positive as to what their plan is. Memorial, GCC is 4 courses or Memorial, he's asking. Memorial has 3 courses. Memorial is going to play Fiesta Lakes, Memorial is going to play Fountain, and Memorial is going to play Vista, just like they did last year. Getting away from Sunset. Yep, they're finally getting away from Sunset. Jim's made a pork.
Don't
Oink, oink.
don't dynamic discs have the name molded into the bottom a lot of times?
They're laser. They're like laser.
Are they? And that's probably why they have less of an issue, maybe with the blank discs.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can't, pass it off as something else. Someone could easily look at the bottom and say, "Oh, this is a thief."
Sure.
So maybe that's why.
Yeah. And it does show that you could go out there and get them at some kind of retail.
Yeah, I'm looking right at their website. They have a thing for blank discs, and they're $19 depending on what you want. So.
Central Coast asks if there will be post coverage at Memorial. That is, in fact, the plan. We're going to be clarifying more with the tournament director as to their strategy, but that is definitely in the talks for sure. Yes, they do, as do MVP. Second, the blanks thing, Innova, Discraft, and their affiliates will not let blanks out. So, yeah, again, some of these, I'll say newer companies that I guess I hadn't thoroughly researched, some of those may allow you to purchase some of their blanks. But if you're buying, I'm going to tell you this, if you're buying them at retail and then you're going to stamp them,
it better be one heck of a stamp to resell them.
There's this thing we call profit margin. Some people call profit margin, and there won't be much of one if that's your plan, Roger. So I'm going to call you out because I know you. Do bands ever play after parties for tournaments? I reached out to Beaver State Fling, but no response. Certainly, I was just at the Maricopa Meadows Open. They had a local band of teenagers, and then they had a little bit more seasoned guy. He played. I certainly think they can. And at the Memorial, that's a great. The Memorial kind of had this big experience where they worked with a local radio station and had a big vendor fly mart type thing, and they had music playing for hours. So every event's different. Of course, like anything else in disc golf, it's going to be tough to go to a tournament director and say, hey, we've got this band and we need to get paid $500 to play. But if you reached out and you're willing to do it for cheap or close to cheap or free, that might be an angle to get your foot in the door.
Sure.
Did you talk? Okay, you guys are talking amongst yourselves here. To Haggerty. I haven't talked to Haggerty. No. I was just contacted whoever through the PDGA page for the event. Yeah, certainly. Yeah, reach out to the tournament director or the PDGA through the PDGA page. Tell them what you're thinking and see, if they're thinking about having a cookout or doing something. Or maybe it's kind of dicey though, because I was going to say maybe from the time the last putt drops until awards, that could be 10 minutes, that could be an hour, depending on the event. But you'd also have to make sure that last putt is dropped, because you just around the corner in the hidden trees, you don't want somebody putting just as the band kicks off for the night. That's for sure. Play in a swamp stomp. He's got to listen to you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's what we've got for everyone. We appreciate PDG representation, Kevin McCoy, who you made fun of.
I did.
Out on the board. We do appreciate everyone tuning in for us. So I think keeping it real with Dana. No, we're not going to let Dana go off.
We're going to keep that to Dana's vlogs.
Yeah, he's going to have to do that on his own time. We are not responsible for the things that Dana says or that any of our guests say, for that matter.
Kevin McCoy says, look for disc golfer Bill Burns on Jeopardy in the next few weeks.
That's pretty cool.
Hopefully he does well.
That's awesome. All right, here it is for all of our guests tonight, including Dana Vicich earlier on the regular show, along with Madison Walker, and here in the after show we had Anthony. We also had Zoe join us, and for Johnny V and myself, this has been Podcast 72's after show. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see you guys right here on next Tuesday night for podcast number 73 when you step inside the Smash Box.